Now I'm craving things that I Hello everyone, welcome to another stream. How's everyone doing? Welcome. I see we're on a hype train. 83% to level 3. Thanks everyone. Appreciate it. Welcome to Tinfoil Tuesday. I'm excited. It feels like it's been a while. We did Tinfoil Tuesday last week, didn't we? Has it just been a long ass week? Either way, welcome. Glad I can see you here. Let's take a look at what's going on in the chat with the bits messages, highlighted messages, whatevs. Jules Kersler, thanks for 14 months. Daima Oni-chan with 13 months says, over a year in this strange place, learning about these strange people and loving every strange second. I'm very glad. Altered Undying, thank you for 5 months with Prime. Mr. Whiskers with 100 bits says, apparently there's a conspiracy stating lead is not really toxic, and the real reason it was banned is because it blocks the radiation the government uses to control us or something. I haven't been able to find a good source on video for it, though. I don't know who Poly People is. I don't know who that is. Bittergrin, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. Bardlack Moses, thanks for gifting a sub. Mr. Whiskers, thanks for gifting a sub. Mandrake Poe says, I don't think I've gotten to see that the start of a stream live before. That seems bit-worthy. Oh, and it's a Poe, after Path of Exiles, not Poe, sorry. P-O-E. Gotcha. I should probably change that sometime if I'm going to hang out in conspiracy-related chats. I always think, you know, Poe, so that's on me. Doodly Do X, thanks for 9 months, says, well, look at the time. This stream baby's name is going to be Smelly Chud. Smelly Chud is the name. I'll fix the bingo in a second. Sorry about that. Skifazoa with 21 months says 21 is 9 plus 11. 9 plus 2 times 6 minus greater than 9 plus 1 plus 1 times 6. 9/11 is satanic. True. I can't falsify that math because I don't think it's accurate. Mr. Whiskers, thanks for gifting a sub to Mandrake POE. Bardlock Moses says debate bros are cringe. Yeah, I like to talk to people sometimes, but it needs to be like in good faith. And I don't know what the fuck that person was talking about. Gnome Pickles says, did you see the new conspiracy about the football player who had a cardiac emergency on the field? Apparently we cloned him and are having his clone flash Masonic gang set gestures. I have a video about that prepared for you, probably from the same guy you're talking about. KR Goss, thanks for 28 months, says 28 months and now over 700,000 points, getting close to Danzy. That's concerning. It's your birthday, Brew Zerker says, it's my birthday Saturday, welcome to 42, now with, extra grumpiness and bonus body pain. Well, happy almost birthday. Oh. Overthought says, smelly chud, what, smelly chud, what disinformation are they feeding you? Smelly chud, it's not your fault. I don't like Friends, and that's a Friends reference, but I did it for you. Nemesaur Colboth, thanks for gifting 10 tier 1 subs to the community, thank you very much. Getting us over level 5 of the hype train. Mandrake POE says, more bits, I guess. I watched this Creaky Blinder yesterday where he covered a lead paint conspiracist, some quite spectacular nonsense. Interesting. I'm actually not familiar with this person. Creaky Blinder, I'll have to take a look. Is Smelly Chud related to Big Stinky Baby? In the sense that all the sub-babies are half mine. Yeah, I guess they're half siblings. Jellyfish85, thanks for 13 months. My stomach hurts. Why does my stomach hurt? 57% to level 6 on the hype train. What else do we got? What are we looking at today? I have so many things pulled up. Mr. Whiskers with 50 bits says the Creaky Blinder video is where I learned about how lead paint was saving us from tech radiation. How exciting. Are conservatives and conspiracy theorists just gonna start drinking lead paint? Like, I'm not gonna stop them, I just don't think it's a good idea. Don't interact with lead. Not good. Oh yeah, I have to fix Bingo. Sorry, fixing Bingo now. Humiliated Grapes, thanks for gifting a sub. The Bingo thing is broken. Let me fix it. Sometimes I have to turn the bot on and off. 72% to level 6 on the hype train. Tea with Goblin says, good morning, Hannah. I like the cute lilac. I know you have a bunch of stuff today, but perhaps this angry shouty man being angry and shouty about why COVID is fake will be a tasty, aperitif? I don't know what that word means. But sure. I haven't fixed it yet. Give me a sec. 1 second. Accept terms of service. Maybe that was why it turned off. Let's turn it off and on. On? On? Is it on now? Baha is not at work. She ended up being able to work earlier today. Oh wait, let me turn. There we go. Bingo works now. Mr. Whiskers with a link, 77% to level 6.
Strange and mystical.
No! Get out of here with that watch! Lay off the poor beavers, will you? Jeez! You're a creep! Go away! We're having a good time until you showed up, jeepers! Go have some coffee with cream or something! Because I'll tell you something! This is a happy place!
Bumble Homestead, thanks for 100 bits. 80% to level 6 with 40 seconds left.
Media release, presentation, circus show, have another fucking mouthful of bullshit day. I don't know. The health advisor just came out. To his right, he's got the general of the army, and to his left, he's got, and it's called COVID Shield, Operation COVID Shield. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Fuck you people act like motherfuckers. Fuck you people are full of shit. Look, I swear to God, I don't care if I get arrested. The cunt needs a big fucking punch in the face. I've never seen so much bullshit fucking bullshit acting in all my COVID Shield. Then he says he has the audacity to say nobody in Australia has caught COVID and died from COVID, but you motherfuckers have locked us in and out. It's like you've got your dick and you're constantly fucking us in the ass. If nobody in Australia has caught COVID and died in Australia, what the fuck have you done to us, you sons of bitches? And you people still lay down, and you people still listen to the bullshit, and none of you want to go to war.
Is Boxy not on? Boxy's on. Boxy's there. You're good.
What the fuck is wrong with you people? The motherfucker just admitted it. He just said no one in Australia has caught COVID and died from COVID. Yet you all fuckers go inside, wear a mask, tie up your bumhole, cover your dick and your...
I don't know any sort of citation for that. I don't know if genuinely no one in Australia has died of COVID or if he's just fucking crazy. But, like, presumably if the mortality rates of COVID in Australia were low or zero, it would be the result of precautions taken by said government, right? Who's your friend? Thanks for gifting 10 tier 1 subs. Thank you very much. But yeah, I find that very hard to believe too. I'm assuming he misheard or is misinterpreting or someone made a gaffe. I do not think the Australian government is making that claim, and if they are, it's kind of funny.
cunt do anything that's possible. Are you fucking insane? Are you fucking insane? Oh my God, he just said it. He just said it. 2 fucking years of our lives being destroyed, and the cunt has the audacity to get up there and say, we are fortunate enough that nobody in Australia has caught COVID and died from it. So the 1,163 that you reported, you fucking lying son of a...
Okay, so over 1,000 people have died, and he's either mishearing or someone misspoke?
Slut! You motherfucker, stop!
Did he call him a slut?
Morrison, Daniel Andrews, Anastasia Palaszczuk, Aire Brabnik, Aire Bamlik, Aire Malta Maltekonjak with the Sharmuta, you fucking killed us! You killed our economy! We had people commit suicide! You fucking drove us insane! And this cunt just came out and said, nobody's died! Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
You okay, sir? Do you need an Ambien?
He just came out and said, we are fortunate enough that nobody in Australia has caught COVID and died from COVID. Yet the whole world has gone back to normal, and we are still not allowed to even fucking go from state to state. We still fucking quarantine from coming back overseas, and we have to pay for our own pocket. Out of our own pocket, and Scott Morrison gets to go and quarantine in his house. And you people still think this is real. And you people still think this is real! Oh my God, how do you fucking sleep at night? How do you sleep at night knowing that you partake in the biggest hoax, the biggest murder of Australian people in the history of Australia? How do you sleep at night? You know what? The next motherfucker, as God is my witness, I do the sign of the cross just like we used to do before we went to war. Just like we used to do before we went to war. As God is my witness, the next motherfucker that...
You tried to Google it for a fact check, only 2 results with an exact match, and one I saw said in 6 months. I figured it was, like, actually qualified with something like that. I thought it was going to be, like, since the beginning of 2023 or whatever, like in the last almost month, you know? But this is from August anyway, this video, it looks like, so presumably it's 0 deaths within a certain amount of time. Mandrake PoE says it's going to be a cheesy day, I guess, or a cheery day, I guess. 18,000 deaths total in Australia since COVID started, and the point this idiot is missing is that those deaths are so low because of the steps the government took. It's like idiots who are like, in the 90s everyone was talking about the hole in the ozone layer, and that's not something anyone talks about anymore. Yeah, because governments all around the world banned the chemical that was causing the problem, and then slowly over time, the problem got better, because when you take actions, it mitigates or solves problems. Shocking. It's almost like government regulation works.
That says to me, I know somebody that died from COVID, I'm dropping the cunt. And I will be arrested, and I will go fucking to prison. But I will go held with my head held high, and my honor intact. I will drop the next motherfucker that says he knows a friend of a friend of a friend. I will drop him there and there.
So you're gonna assault a random person who tells you about someone they know who died? Kind of sounds like a psychotic way to act, but I guess that's on you.
Will not persuade him. I will not try to convince him and change his mind. I will drop him in a heartbeat. I will refuse to talk anymore because there's an old...
Do I like anime? Let's find out. I know I have that video somewhere. Where's my goddamn anime video? Is this about anime? No! Anime! You know what? Okay. Thanks, Mandrake PoE, for the link. Anime fans! And Stephen J. Neptune Man says, as someone with friends in Australia, I promise you not all Australians are like this. I believe you. Some of the only fans in the world that if you say, I don't like blank, every single one takes it as a moment to be like, oh, but have you seen this anime? Watch this anime, it's so good. No! No! I said what I said. I don't like anime. Stop trying to recommend me anime. How hard is this to understand? Like, if someone says to me, I don't like Marvel movies, I don't go, but have you seen Infinity War? I would, Farquaad, thanks for 17 months, never come up to you and be like, but have you seen Thor Ragnarok? Like, if you don't like it, you don't like it. It's fine. It's okay for people to not like things you like. I'm not telling you you're fucking wrong for liking anime, I just don't like it. Imagine if I said, I don't like sports, and everyone was like, but have you seen football? Yes, I don't like it. I've also had people tell me they don't like cartoons, and that's also fine. So someone who's saying that is like saying I don't like cartoons. I literally know people who do not like cartoons, and that is fine. Daddy Sume says Hannah and her boomer takes. Yeah, I'm a fucking boomer because I don't like anime. Yep, you got it. Yep, big boomer. I don't want you to think that it's like I'm mad at you. I'm not. I'm just like every time, everyone's like anime. I'm not into anime, guys. I get you guys like anime. Not everyone's gonna like anime. Beautiful. If you ever need this clip for any purpose, here you go. Cool. The Junji Ito anime is really good. Complete sidebar entirely. But the Junji Ito anime that just came out on Netflix is really good. So guys, have you checked out that anime? Where were we? Is that guy still yelling, or are we done with that guy? We must have been done with him. Okay, let's watch this guy say lead paint is good. Baha did not like the Junji Ito anime. I enjoyed it. I've seen the first 2 episodes. Stone Corbell, thanks for gifting a sub. Second episode was a lot better than the first one. Argonian Bum, thanks for 30 months.
Get started. This is a very controversial topic. Something ingrained in people for decades. Oh, lead paint is horrible. Lead paint is the devil. Keep it away.
This isn't a joke, is it? Like, did he make this as like a joke?
From your children. Yet those same people will keep their
Cappy
cell
Core.
phone next to their baby all day. Doesn't make any sense. I'm 100% convinced myself the main reason lead paint was banned is because it blocks radiation. That radiation...
No! Lead'll fucking kill you! Or it'll make you angry and dumb and violent. Please take the threat of lead seriously. Do not ingest lead. Don't do anything with lead.
Radiation from your cell phone, router, nearby towers.
Like, I'm pretty convinced that the entire reason that the boomer generation is so fucked up, especially in old age, is because of lead poisoning in their brains. Please, stay away from lead.
Smart meters, all of your neighborhood's devices.
If they tried to, you know how they banned leaded gasoline quite a while ago? Imagine if they tried to ban leaded gasoline today. Tucker Carlson and his audience would actively be going out to gas stations and sniffing leaded gas-filled cans if they were told how bad it was today.
Since lead paint was still being used in the 70s and 80s, before these high radiation devices were invented, the lead paint was the only thing protecting us. It's far too much of a coincidence that they banned lead paint right before all of this new technology comes out.
That's completely arbitrary that you're deciding that. What are you talking about? Lead paint was banned because it is proven to be a neurotoxin. First name bunch of numbers says, Sir, lead does not operate on the enemy of my enemy is my friend rule. Just because it blocks radiation doesn't make it good for you. That's a good point. Like, lead obviously can block radiation. If you've ever been to, like, the dentist or anywhere getting an x-ray, like at the dentist, they'll give you a lead thing, you know? So it's true that lead will block radiation. But, like, that has nothing to do with whether or not ingesting it or getting it on you is good for you. It's not. It's bad for you. It's poison. Hydrate.
Keep in mind, though, one coat of lead paint was probably not enough. It would have to be an older building where there were multiple 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, who knows, 10 layers of lead paint, which is why they demonized those old buildings. Were they the only safe ones to still live in?
No! Sir, no! This is like one of the worst videos we've ever watched because it's so objectively stupid. Clock Blockers says, no, Hannah, you will not deprive me of my lead paint chips. They make my head feel spinny. Tea with Goblin says, okay, someone needs to do a fake leftist outrage about why asbestos is transphobic, and then watch Tucker Carlson's Army of Chuds rush to sprinkle it on their cornflakes.
So lead paint was banned in 1978 for use in child-occupied facilities.
Dr. Gamble says, it actually pisses me off that we still have lead pipes to this day. Granite Cuttlefish says the Roman Empire used lead acetate as a sweetening agent and they ruled the known world. Make America leaded again.
Which includes residential homes, schools, churches, daycares, etc. One indisputable argument is the amount of lives lost to disease caused by radiation.
No!
Every modern disease...
No! God damn it. Isn't this the guy that eats only meat, too? This guy is like a carnivore, right? Like he doesn't eat vegetables. I feel like we've seen this guy before.
Has environmental radiation as a catalyst, as it greatly increases oxidative stress and reduces organ function. If all of our houses were covered in enough lead paint to block radiation, hundreds of thousands to millions of people would not have suffered from radiation-induced diseases, including cancer, diabetes, heart disease. Your individual health.
Diabetes and heart disease is like huge in the US and a lot of Western countries because of our diets in large part. We're very inactive and we eat like super sugary diets. Like do you not understand how this works? Do you not understand how people catch diabetes? Type 2 diabetes, obviously. Type 1's heritable.
Dictate your tolerance to radiation. How much toxins are already in your body.
Wait, is it heritable? No, it's you said it's autoimmune. Whatever it is, you just get it. It's not like your fault.
Body.
Sorry.
Things as simple as were you bottle fed or breastfed. This is the biggest secret. No matter whose YouTube channel you watch, whatever social media influencer, they will never talk to you about EMF radiation or energy because it is what keeps them ahead of the masses. The masses are too naive to even think about how their cell phone works and if that energy can be used and manipulated.
That was a huge talking point in early cell phone days. Mr. Whiskers with 50 bits says lead tinfoil hats for all. The idea that the effect of like cell phone radiation, as if that hasn't been studied endlessly, is nuts. That was like a thing, even the Mythbusters, I think, fucking tested this at a basic level because it became such a meme that people were like, oh, that cell phone's gonna give you brain cancer. No, it's not. It's not.
In different ways. Let's jump into some logical inconsistencies. Leaded gasoline wasn't banned until 1996. If lead is so dangerous, why did they wait 20 years before saying that in...
Because companies are shitty. Because the government is shitty. How do you not understand this?
Inhaling lead fumes at the gas station or while driving.
Yeah. It's almost like it fucked up a lot of people.
Driving is bad for you. Now, if you didn't know why lead paint was banned, the reason they used is because children, babies, were eating the paint. But that's ridiculous. It's like saying you shouldn't wash your clothes because the kids might eat the Tide Pods.
Kids lick things. Kids lick things. Kids stick their hands all over things and lick their hands. Kids are fucking idiots. No offense to children, but you know, you're doing your best. Kids lick things.
And I think if a child eats paint, they're going to have many issues outside of lead poisoning. The government is actively poisoning the public, including babies.
You can breathe it in if it like if you were to break up the paint or knock down the building and the stuff. For instance, I saw a story recently online. This is about asbestos, not lead, but similarly, someone broke down their something in their house, and it turned out they didn't test it beforehand, and it was all asbestos. So they basically, turned all this asbestos into dust, and their house was full of asbestos dust, and it became an issue. So, like, yeah, you don't want to breathe stuff in. That's bad for you. Sky Comet says, I'd tell him to go eat lead paint chips if he's so sure it's safe, but he might actually do it. And Mandrake PoE says, having looked over his other videos, this guy appears to be a fan of beef and whiteboards. Whiteboard topics include 3 steps to heal eczema, psoriasis, dermatitis, and Parasites 101. Do you have a parasite?
Babies, whether it's what they come with at birth or what the water and food supply is polluted with. Have you seen what's in baby formula? Like, they ban lead paint, but they're putting that crap in baby. They're putting iron filings in baby cereal, but lead paint is not.
I'm gonna need a citation on that one, sir. Gitara says, Tucker Carlson recently unironically was saying that people should smoke more tobacco because the left wants you to smoke weed instead. Apparently because tobacco makes you strong and confident, while weed makes you weak and compliant. Carlson was fully aware that tobacco was a carcinogen, but waved it off as leftist BS science by using false equivalents to something else, as usual. If they want to smoke, I wish them luck. Tea with Goblins says, have you ever seen the series The Terror? Historical drama based on the disappearance of 2 British ships during the Arctic exploration in the early 19th century. The 2 ships, ominously named the Terror and the Erebus, Darkness, were incredibly technologically advanced and were one of the first voyages to use canned provisions. Too bad the cans were made of lead. I've never heard about that, though. Interesting.
Painters didn't.
Baja says there's iron in cereal, but not filings. Right. Like, there's iron in all sorts of stuff. Like, our blood has iron in it. Like, does he not know that there's iron in people's body?
Not report toxicity. When applying the paint years and years ago, there was no
like, you need iron.
Widespread.
to make things clear, you need iron in your body. You do not need lead.
Respiratory or toxicity issue, and we'll go into that a little more later. Government agencies still use lead paint. Only the regular public do not have access to it. And I found that out trying to source lead paint myself. Oh, we can use it as government officials, but no, you, as the average homeowner, cannot use lead paint. It is banned. Miscarriage rates and childhood cancer have skyrocketed, which the government has done an excellent job of hiding the statistics of, but I've heard that it's around 30%. How is it possible that 1 in 3 children are not brought into this world because of our environmental?
A lot of statistics like that are often misleading. Sometimes it has to do with the fact that our ability to detect things has gotten better. So it's not necessarily that, like, childhood cancers have actually gone up that high, that quickly. Our ability to detect and treat cancers at all stages has increased dramatically over the last 30 years. Like, there's a lot of bad stuff with the world, but honestly, our ability to detect and treat cancers is something that we've gotten much better at, and will continue to get better at. So some of that could be that. Other than that, I really don't know. There are a lot of carcinogens in the environment that could account for it, but, like, I'm not a doctor or a scientist, so, like, I'm not going to stand in front of a whiteboard and pretend I know what I'm talking about. Who's Your Friend says, unless you're Vulcan, then you need copper. True, that's why their blood's green. Mr. Whiskers says, and what applications are they using the lead paint for? Probably not their government offices. Yeah, I would imagine it might actually be used in the context where they're doing some sort of testing with radiation, but, like, again, that's for specific purposes. Gitara says there was a Hotep conspiracy theory that started that people of Africa descent originally had green skin, but due to the Western white man's diet full of iron, the iron rusted in our bloodstreams and made our skin brown. Weird. Dr. Gamble with 50 bits.
All these science fears are made of asbestos, by the way. Keeps out the rats. Let us know if you feel a shortness of breath, a persistent dry cough, or your heart stopping, because that's not part of the test. That's asbestos. Good news is the lab boys say the symptoms of asbestos poisoning show a median latency of 44.6 years. So if you're 30 or older, you're laughing. Worst case scenario, you miss out on a few rounds of canasta. Plus, you forwarded the cause of science by 3 centuries. I punch those numbers into my calculator, it makes a happy face.
I love Portal 2. Baja says, oh my effing god, only 25% of pregnancies make it to implantation. Lots of those miscarriages wouldn't have ever been detected prior to super early tests. Most people don't even know they're pregnant, which is when most miscarriages happen.
Pollutions. Point is, with these logical inconsistencies, they want you and your children sick. It's very evident. So, why did they ban lead paint?
Because it's bad for you. Like, do you not understand that, like, government officials' children also lick walls? Like, I don't think they want their, like, kids to be toxified. Sure, Baja blasts on the bingo for the thing Baja said.
If they're doing all of these other things. Someone please explain to me. If they're poisoning us with fluoride and chlorine in the water...
There's nothing wrong with fluoride on the bingo card.
Why are they trying to help us by banning lead paint?
Is it possible that your initial premise that fluoride and chlorine in small amounts in water for purification purposes, is it possible that your belief that those things are harmful is incorrect and therefore the following things that you derive from those premises are incorrect? Because where I'm standing, that seems to be the case. Your premises are wrong, so all your conclusions that follow will be wrong.
Not only that, they didn't tell you what other sources of lead you might interact with. Soil. Do your kids go outside and eat dirt? Seems more...
Do you understand that the concentration of lead in soil is going to be less than lead-based paint?
likely that they would eat
Your kid also shouldn't eat dirt, but they can't ban dirt.
dirt than paint, to be honest. Also, food grown in that polluted soil, the peas and carrots being fed to your child, could have lead in them. Are you
Why does he think the soil's full of like 50% lead? Like, why does he think everything's lead?
checking if the baby, I mean, you shouldn't be feeding peas and carrots to your child, but are you checking if the baby food company is
He, of course, thinks you should feed a child meat slurry because he's a psycho.
testing for metals like that? Drinking water.
Idiot thinks he's a genius. Yes, let's go for it.
They
The
don't
smugness that he's doing this in counts.
seem to care about removing the lead in the water in Flint, Michigan, or lead in the water anywhere, because that lead is not lining the walls, protecting them from the government's radiation.
They absolutely are making efforts to fix Flint's water systems. It's not just like a problem in Flint either. Water systems around the country, if they have lead-based pipes, if the acidity of the water changes, have the same potential to leach lead into the water supply and become a fucking humanitarian crisis, you asshole. Rick fucking Snyder should be in prison.
Old cookware, not as big of a problem, but certain things, I think pewter, are made from lead. The government hasn't said much about that. Hazardous locations. In New York, I think Rockland County, which is kind of close to the city, was known
I don't think I put my head in my hands.
for some sort of like toxic area, and a lot of
At the
people
very least, I wasn't feeling the vibe for that space.
are getting cancer. But the government doesn't tell you or warn you, oh, if your home is located near businesses, demolition sites, mines, recycling facilities, there are heavy lead pollution concerns as well as many other toxins. It's crazy to me that the government has pinpointed this issue on lead paint, children eating paint, as opposed to all of these other potential issues.
They're all issues!
And
At least the ones that are real, not the conspiracy bullshit.
there's even more
I did stop and put my head in my hands. Okay.
that I didn't mention here.
Guess it counts.
Now, is that really the issue? Should we say the only possible problem with lead paint is a child eating it? Has that ever happened on a large scale? I could only find one case study of a child with pica, which is eating soil because they're nutrient deficient, they're not getting the right food for their body, and that child happened to eat lead paint, a lot of it, and the outcome wasn't that great. I mean, was he in a low-income area, not being supervised by his parents, in a horribly old and distraught building? Maybe. Who knows if it was true or not? But babies should not be eating paint regardless of whether it's lead or not.
If a baby has to eat paint, though, and they have two options and one has lead, they should pick the non-lead based paint. All the babies listening to this show, If you ever come into a situation where behind door number 1 is lead paint, and behind door number 2 is non-lead paint, go to door number 2, okay? Don't eat paint, though.
How are you feeling? How are you feeling? How are you feeling? How are you feeling? I'm extremely high because I just smoked a joint, so I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea. I have no idea what to do, and neither do you. Be that as it may, I don't care about that at the moment. I don't really like a lot of children. In fact, I kick kids because children cannot consent to being alive. Think about it.
So as most people know, lead is incredibly heavy. It's a metal. It's not going to release into the air after being
You fucking idiot.
mixed into paint or chipped off the wall on like a normal scale. But there are many other chemicals in paint that are also toxic, which shouldn't be inhaled, that the government doesn't talk about.
Something being a heavy element does not mean that it inherently is incapable of being, like, kicked up into the air if it's part of something fundamentally, and then it, like, fucking, you know, gets vaporized. Like, what are you talking about? Ugh. Ashy Boo says, babies love eating lead paint. It tastes delicious to them. It's basically like putting poison candy walls in a kid's room and saying, well, the baby shouldn't be eating the poison candy walls, so it's fine.
Regardless of whether there is lead
It was also paint on toys kids chewed on. That's true.
in the paint or not, a painter should be wearing a mask, respiratory devices, have a lot of ventilation to ensure minimal inhalation of those chemicals. The real
Tucker White says, sadly, that edited video of Jordan Peterson rambling was a less of a word salad than the actual Jordan Peterson.
problem, and my understanding of the danger of lead paint, is removing it in a commercial application, which is done with blowtorches. And the main case studies I could find were specifically from workers doing lead paint removal when they took off their respirators and other people were removing it, and also certain professions that use a lot of lead, like pottery. But those are very rare cases of toxicity where proper precautions weren't taken. I mentioned earlier the government uses lead in certain commercial applications not really known to the public. A more common example is its use in hospitals. Every single hospital, x-ray rooms, private patient rooms.
They're on X-ray rooms because of the radiation.
You know, are they putting you
Your house is not full of dangerous radiation.
in the giant room where everyone is getting fried, or do they give you the rich person treatment and put you in a room that has lead walls? There's so many building materials available. You could just Google it. Lead plywood, lead drywall,
DJ Shea says, and don't forget that in Victorian England we added lead to food.
lead doors, lead bricks, lead curtains. You can
Has he mentioned solder yet? No.
even buy glass that has a lot of lead in it, enough to block radiation. Hospitals, allegedly where the most vulnerable people are, have the highest use of lead out of any commonly visited building.
Yeah, because they use radiation for a variety of fucking treatments and tests. MRIs, X-rays, radiation treatments for cancer. Like, you fucking idiot. There are literal machines in hospitals made for generating dangerous radiation because in small amounts it can either be used as a treatment or for diagnostic purposes.
So they want their doctors and nurses
Tucker White says, well, I'm convinced lead is absolutely safe for everyone to... Wait, why do my hands and feet suddenly tingle like fuck?
protected
It's a mystery.
from
Eat your lead.
hospitals because they're relatively high radiation environments, and those people are the cogs in the machine of big pharma. But you can't have this lead in your home because you need to get sick from radiation so that you end up in the hospital. Go figure. Now, the reason I started looking into this was because lead is the only affordable way to kind of shield your home from radiation. There are certain paints and things you can buy, but they cost thousands and thousands of dollars. And the average person can't afford, $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10,000 to buy enough nickel or different types of metal to shield their home. Lead, on the other hand, is very affordable and it's very effective at blocking many types of radiation, not just radio frequency radiation. So, in the future, I might get some lead
At this point, wouldn't it just be easier to, like, get someone to build a Faraday cage around your house or something. I feel like this is, I don't know, delusional.
That you guys can get on WiFiShielding.com. In the meantime, we do have some other ways that you can shield yourself, and if you do want to buy that paint from other companies, it's just way too expensive. It's like $500, $600 just to paint one room. So maybe we'll get some type of lead in the future. I mean, alternatively, I could have gotten a more expensive metal that's way more, but again, even those more expensive metals don't have the same radiation protection properties as lead, so you know it's really the only decent option. So let me know what you guys think, you know, how this kind of comes off from, I guess, a perspective of someone who hasn't done a lot of research on this. But you guys can go to frank-stefano.com to support me through all of my businesses. Please drop a like on the video, leave a comment down below.
Give this guy money so he'll buy a bunch of lead paint. At the very least, it seems like people in the comments are still telling him he's wrong. But, you know, whatever. I wish that guy luck in his future of lead paint eating. Okay, what did we have on the bingo card? Let's see. We had... No, he had fluoride, not chemtrails, actually. Sorry. Chiba Hawk says, here are some ill-informed opinions I threw together with little to no research, but trust me, bro. And Sky Comet says, I found out recently that the elementary school I went to had lead in the drinking water. I spent years of my childhood drinking that. Thanks, anti-tax neighbors, for refusing to fund any sort of renovations. Okay, what else? So, Baja Blasts, we definitely had that. Let's do number 3. Hey guys, you know, I'm here to sell you shit, because he did mention a website. My research said not by a researcher, because he said he's been doing research on the fucking lead. Are there any super active Elvis truthers? There's one I know of, kind of, but he's terrible to listen to and also probably severely mentally ill, so I don't want to cover him. They might exist, but they're not as popular as they were in, like, the 80s or 90s. At least from what I've seen of videos about it. Hannah Zoe exasperated. All she can do is put her head in her hands for a bit. 5G. Someone forgets correlation isn't causation for his statistic stuff. I know we need population control. Is that on page 1 and I just missed it? Fluoride. Oh, forced sterilization, population control is a motive. Thank you, people in chat, for pointing it out. Alright, I think that's it. Back to it. I don't think do your own research. We had him calling what he did research, but... What else we got? Oh, this is sad. This is short. I'm gonna pop the screen off. At least, you know, the one that you can see. I don't know. What am I gonna put on the second screen while you guys are doing that? I don't know. Enjoy this shot of my computer. No, I just put it on the wrong screen. Hold on. Alright, so you're going to listen to this. It's only like 2 or 3 minutes long, but I'm not going to put it on video because this is sad. This is a flat earther forcing their kid to do a homeschool assignment on flat earth. So you're going to hear the voice of a child. This is a child doing a school presentation for their flat earth parent. Of course, I'm not showing it because it is a child, and it is not this child's fault that their parent is brainwashing them. But I wanted you guys at least to hear it because I need you to know that they are doing this to their kids. There's also a separate thing that I was going to cover today but decided not to because it was all in German. You guys, I'm sure, are familiar with the QAnon documentary, air quotes, Fall of the Cabal, which is quite popular. Fall of the Cabal is like a foundational text of QAnon. Someone from Germany has now put out Fall of the Cabal for Kids, which effectively takes all the nonsense Q bullshit, but frames it for children, and the idea is that if you're a Q parent, you show your children this to indoctrinate them into the QAnon stuff. Right now, like I said, it's only in German, but it's something to look out for. A lot of the time, it's usually grassroots conspiracists. They'll translate videos from other languages. So at some point, I will expect that to probably show up in English or other languages if locally something different is spoken. Just letting you know. It's already translated in the video. It's just captions, but it's a long video, so I wanted to listen and not read it to you guys. Anyway, let's take a listen to this poor kid regurgitating a bunch of crap their flat earth parent taught them. Flat earth on the bingo card.
Hi, my name is Bainry Bubbick and I'm 8 years old and I'm going to be teaching you about flat earth. So first we're going to start off with gravity. Gravity is a theory, not a fact. Mass attracting mass never been proven properly. This happened in 16...
The kid has a whiteboard behind them. Looks like the adult maybe did drawing on it. I could be wrong, but it doesn't look like children's drawings. It looks like an adult trying to illustrate things.
1966, an apple fell on Isaac
Bad
Newton's
parenting
head.
on the bingo card. Yes, indeed.
There must have been a big apple for him to believe in gravity. Gravity is fake
Teaching your kid that the Isaac Newton apple story is literally true just makes you a dumbass. For anyone who needs to hear it, Isaac Newton didn't literally have an apple fall on his head to figure out gravity. That's apocryphal. That's a, fake pop culture thing that people made up.
because density and
Or an example used to express an idea to someone. It's not a literal truth.
EMF are making things drop, not gravity.
Okay, so apparently this kid's parent thinks that electromagnetic radiation is what's causing things to fall, because that's what she just said. Of course, we know that's not the case. This is actually tied into something called the electric universe model, which we haven't really gotten into because I find it to be a pretty dry conspiracy. It tends to fall in with a lot of the flat earth stuff, but some people, most flat earthers, I would argue, think that it's like density, buoyancy that causes things to fall, which doesn't make sense without gravity, of course, but they don't know that. But a few of them who do understand that instead say the actual reason for the vector involved in, buoyancy, they think it's electromagnetic radiation. So they think that electromagnetism is what causes what we all see as the effects of gravity.
There is iodine salt in this cup and no iodine salt in the other cup. There is 2 cups of water with an egg. One with iodine salt, with no iodine salt. This one has iodine salt, and it has electricity because the electricity is pushing the egg up.
No, it's salt. Salt will change the will change the buoyancy of the water. It's the same reason, like in what's that sea that's really salty that you could go to and you're really buoyant in? Someone let me know. You guys know what I'm talking about, though. The salinity of the Dead Sea, thank you. The salinity of water is directly proportional to how buoyant you are in it because the density of the material that you're in is higher, relatively speaking, or something. Mandrake PoE says, Professor Dave has some great videos on the electric universe nonsense. He does. Professor Dave does really good breakdowns of pseudoscience from time to time.
On the other one, it has no electricity in it.
It's not about electricity. It's just not.
Because
Again, it's not the kid's fault. This kid has been told this stuff. Like, that's what kids literally do, is they're told things by adults and they accept them because kids are, that's the point, is we teach our children things. Hopefully we teach them things that are true. Fortunately, this parent has failed.
Because the egg is denser than the water. Density and surrounding
But the water that's salted is denser than the water that's fresh water.
medium with EMF. That stands for electromagnetic frequency. If gravity can't be proven and Earth is 70% water, we know water stays level, then 70% of Earth is level. Now we are going to move on to the globe and our flat Earth. So say there's a boat just cruising on the bottom of the Earth. It would fall into space, and space is fake. If space was real,
Fucking yikes. No, it wouldn't, kid. Gravity, or even within the internal thing your parent taught you, you'd think it's like EMF or something?
stars would have parallax, but they don't.
Stars do have parallax. Incorrect.
So it would just fall
Fact checked, 6-year-old.
into space. And this is for anything that can't go upside down. If people believe that the Earth is round, people don't walk upside down. Same with a boat.
They're not upside down, they're on a sphere. It's not how this works.
It doesn't.
I just feel bad for this kid. This is
It
sad.
doesn't sail upside down.
JP Black says, as a parent, this infuriates me so much. Bet it does?
They think this is true on that. Well, no, it is not. This is our true flat Earth. And the thing around it is the firmament. I'm going to tell you how the firmament is real. The firmament is real because air pressure has to be contained, just like in a tire. Now we are going to move on to seasons and the sun. The spinning ball globe believers say that the sun is 93 million miles away. The globe depends on parallel rays for the seasons. All you have to do is use your God-given eyes to see we have crepuscular rays from the sun. Crepuscular rays proves we have a local sun. That proves everything about seasons and the sun. Now we are going to move on to a sun, moon, and earth depiction. The sun is shining on the moon and the moon is shining on the earth. Why is it not shining its temperature on earth?
What?
Well, me and my dad did an experiment.
Oh no, he did the fucking shade experiment. This poor kid doesn't have a fucking chance.
One night on a full moon, and we used a laser thermometer to check the moon's light and its shadow. The moon's light was colder than its shadow, so that proves the...
That's because of radiative cooling. It's because of radiative cooling. In the shade at night, it will be warmer often than it is in non-shaded areas, specifically because those shaded areas are covered by something like a tree or a gazebo, whatever's causing the shadow, and a lot of heat at nighttime dissipates by going upward, because that's how heat works. But if it's canopied by trees or whatever, the air and stuff is kind of insulated from directly rising upwards, so the area that's shaded can actually have a higher temperature than an area that does not have shade and has open sky above it. Flat earthers unfortunately use this to say, well, that means the moon's light is cold, which doesn't make any sense because that's not how thermodynamics works. You can't emit cold. Warmth can be transferred, but you can't transfer cold. Yeah. Gitara says, even if the Earth was flat, it would still have gravity. Though technically you could walk on the other side of the disk without issues, but even then, that's assuming gravity is pulling things straight down on the disk and not towards its center like real gravity works in our spherical Earth.
Light is colder than its shadow. and proves that the moon has its own light. The sun is not reflecting its light on the moon. The moon has its own light. Thank you for watching my flat earth presentation. I hope you guys liked it. And Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. Just remember, the truth does not fear investigation. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Oh, this kid's fucked. I don't normally say stuff like this, but I kind of hope that that kid gets taken away. Because that kid is fucked. That kid is not going to have social skills. That kid is not going to have any, like, idea of reality. It's going to be so warped. Anyway. What's Chris been up to? What's Chris been up to?
Oh, all right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be.
Recording in car.
CC here, Chris.
Cold is an absence of heat, like darkness is the absence of light, and black is the absence of color. Yeah.
From New York, Westchester County. It's 1/22, 2023. Do you... yeah, I don't know. Do you see that?
The sky?
Do you see the rays that are being emitted?
Yes.
With that projection? Do you see it?
Holographic sun on the bingo card.
Of course the storm's coming in. That's the rain that'll be coming in. So it's been cloudy here for fucking 7 days. 7 straight fucking days where I can't get any freaking meteor footage or comet footage at all. But do you see that? That is only possible with a projection from...
It's not. Occult Comics says Kid Einstein saves modern science. Oh, God.
You think you've won, but there's one thing you've forgotten. That Winston Churchill is my mentor. And if there's one thing he taught me, it's to always pack a lunch.
What in the fuck? Mr. Whisker says a rare recording out of his car. Hey, Chris gets out and about, okay? He's social. Marcus Drake says, if black is the absence of color, then explain why I'm black. And everyone... I can't say that. I'm white.
From the sky in order to form those rays that go through the clouds and down. Do you see it? I think I made a baby cry. But do you see it?
Did he just say he made a baby cry?
I think I made a baby cry. But
you make us cry, Chris. I feel that baby's pain.
Do you see it? Okay? That is only possible from a projection. If you had a star that was 93 million miles away from you, it would illuminate the entire sky.
It does! That's why it's daytime! Mr. Whiskers, thanks for giving a sub. It's called day, Chris. It's called day. It's day? It's fucking day out. That's what it is. That's what it is!
And if you were on a ball. Okay?
You stupid asshole.
That is very small and local.
It's not! It's fucking not!
The creator built this entire area for you to figure this out. But yet you sit on your ass on the fucking couch and do nothing and produce shit.
Like, does he not understand? Like, let's say I lit a candle, right, in a dark room. Imagine, I had a lighter in here at one point. I don't think I still do. I think it got taken for candles at some point. But imagine it was a dark room and I had a lighter or a match or something. Strike the match. It's a dark room and then it's suddenly illuminated. Sure, looking at the actual source of light, like the match head itself, would probably be the brightest thing you could look at in the room. but it's still illuminating things around it. It's just that that's the source, so the brightest area is the source. So yes, when you look into the sky, the brightest part is the actual sun itself, but the entirety of the side of the Earth you're on is illuminated, and you can tell because it's fucking day. It's daylight outside. How do you argue with a man in his 50s who doesn't understand that day is when the sun lights up half the Earth?
While there's evidence all over the place that shows everybody that we live on a flat ground, that we're covered with something, that we're not some
I'm covered with rage.
Insignificant creature born from swampland and this nonsense they've been teaching you.
Sounds like he's sick or getting over an illness or something, doesn't it? Remember when he said he had he tested positive for COVID a month or two ago? Is he still not recovered? Is he just permanently fucked in his lungs because of it?
Been doing a little research. Actually, I've known it for a long time.
Like, genuinely, his voice sounds fucked.
But, you know, one thing I really...
Even though he tested... I don't know who here missed that video when it happened a month or so ago. But Chris got really, really sick, and his wife made him take a COVID test, because, you know, he's like a COVID denier. And the test was positive, and he still doesn't believe he had COVID. He thinks it was a false positive because he doesn't believe COVID is like a thing.
Enjoy is pictures from the 1800s, the 1900s. These beautiful cities that were built 150 years ago.
Doesn't understand how architecture works on the bingo card.
And you know, I look at these pictures, and they look like they've been taken in the middle of a day. Sun's up somewhere at 2 o'clock. It's up. Or there it is at 8 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning. Middle of the afternoon, if you look at the clocks on some of these pictures.
That's a bingo? Do you have a bingo? Post your card if you have a bingo.
Where are the people? Where?
Yeah, this is Tartaria stuff. He's a mud flood believer. And a flat earther.
Are.
Let's take a look at your bingo card to see if you did indeed win. Doo-doo-doo. Ba-da-bum. Holographic and or fake sun sky. Fluoride, free space, recording in car, doesn't understand architecture. That is a win right there. Let me write your name down. Congrats. Miss Quilanius is the bingo winner today, the official one that gets a gift sub either for themselves or someone else. Let me write your name down on the card. I always forget to bring the card up before stream. All right. Let's see. Most recent files. Bingo winners. There we go. Give it to a random? Okay. Can do. No problem. The first person who said that they wanted a gift sub gets it. I know multiple people asked, but Mabret was the first one. So sorry, sort of something. Maybe next time, unless someone else wants to gift you a sub. Does someone want to gift sort of something a sub since they're so sad?
The people in these pictures. I wake up at all times of the day, and I cannot walk to my car without bumping into at least 10 or 20 people. Where are all the people in these
Monster Jr., thanks for gifting a sub to sort of something.
Pictures.
The great thing, I think, about gifting subs to people is they no longer have to view ads and ads are a nightmare. If I could get rid of any one thing in humanity, advertising would be pretty high on the list.
You know,
Did I ever get Marcel's arrest video? I didn't think there was video of his arrest. I'm aware that he got arrested and is in custody, but I didn't think there was any video of his arrest.
They film movies in the village that I live in. And
Moxie Toxic asking for a sub. Oh, Occult Comics, thank you for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. Thank you very much. Quiet One, thanks for gifting a sub to Chicken Bacon Swiss. Tea with Goblins, thanks for gifting a sub.
They have to go through the court and whatever. And
when did Marcel get booked? It was probably 2 months ago, maybe. It's a guess.
They have to cordon off streets and everything like that.
Free the Quartering is trending on Twitter. Yeah, didn't he get suspended for some stupid shit? He just has to, like, delete the tweet, but he's refusing. Overthought, thanks for gifting a sub.
In order to get that perfect picture of nobody walking around on the sidewalks, but yet these photographers back in the 1800s had no problem. Not a...
Okay, so I don't know if this was the thing back in the day. So, like, I know he's talking about, like, oh my god, there were so many photos of things without crowds, which I've seen some old photos like that. But first of all, population was lower. So it's probably possible that you could get photos with fewer people in them more easily. Secondly, I know that literal computer Photoshop wasn't a thing, but putting photos together isn't a new thing, and a pretty common thing if you want to get a photo of something without people in it. I don't know if anyone knows Photoshop, but you can pretty easily take a series of images, as long as people are in different places in each image, and then select basically the areas where people aren't in each photo, and then put them together, and basically create a composite photo of an area without the people. Now, you could do this manually, too, I would imagine. It would just be a much bigger pain in the ass, but, you know, photo editing was a pain in the ass before Photoshop, so it is what it is.
Single person walking around. Nobody smoking a cigarette. Nothing.
Chris, but there are many photos of old cities where people are everywhere. You can find videos of it. We've watched videos on this channel before of, like, New York in the early 1900s.
Nobody on the street corner. Nothing.
Let's see. City streets photo 1800s. Photography was invented in the 1800s, so let's take a look at some early photos. Look, here's a photo from New York in the 1800s. Street is full of people. Here's one, street is full of people, and there's streetcars. Here's one, there's fewer people, because it looks like it's morning. It looks like people are out for doing early deliveries and stuff. I can see, like, a paper boy, and maybe someone in, like, a milk truck or something. The point is, I'm sure you can find pictures of places that don't have people or fewer people. Like, this one, again, has fewer people, because it's probably the morning or something, but you can find countless images from the 1800s, basically from the advent of photography as it exists. You can find photos in populated cities full of people. The insanity and the selective, like, nature of these people's claims are so patently absurd. Everything that people like Chris says, you can immediately go and take 5 seconds to search. It's like wanton ignorance. It's crazy. Chromatic Cuttlefish says, also long exposure times for 19th century photo means you didn't want moving people because they turn into blurry streaks. And see, I've seen old photos where you do have blurry streaks because the time that the exposure is happening is too long, so I've seen that.
Zero. With all these beautiful, extravagant buildings, these cities. So many years ago, they capture everything in one photograph with not a single person walking around. All right. And people say that there weren't ancient civilizations before us.
There definitely were many. Greece, Rome, Egypt, all the different dynasties in what's now modern China, Japan. All over the world, there have been, like, empires and civilizations. They're just not Tartaria, Chris. And they didn't build the White House.
There was an ancient technology before us. Of course.
Indus River Valley civilization, baby. That's my favorite civilization. Is like Babylon and stuff. We got it right, guys. Just making notes on little clay tablets. We've gone too far.
There was.
We need to go back to the Tigris and the Euphrates. Leaving there was when everything went wrong.
Explain these pictures. Tomorrow I'll be doing I like to change gears. You know how to change gears? That's a manual transmission. I don't know, you kids. I don't know. You probably...
Oh, big boomer alert.
You don't know what a clutch is. Yeah, that's the third pedal.
Chris, I'm aware what a manual transmission is.
Yeah, I know. There's only 2 on your car. But we used to have a third pedal right here. And that...
Yeah, I know what a clutch is.
...was the clutch. Okay? But all of a sudden now, in the future...
All of a sudden? I feel like automatic transmissions have been pretty standard on American cars for decades now.
We can't get a manual transmission because they want to control you.
I mean, you could probably find cars if you really want with a manual transmission.
Motherfuckers. Oh yeah, sure you can. If you have enough money to buy a Ferrari or a WX.
Stone Corbell says, warning, warning, the boomer levels are above safety levels. Evacuate immediately.
What?
Overthought says, a clutch is what you guys do when leftists want to make any minor change.
Whatever that fucking Subaru is, which is so small anyway. You gotta get a sports car, is my point, in order to get a clutch. Can't get it in a sedan anymore. No more Audis with a stick shift. No more Mercedes. I don't think Mercedes had a stick shift in any of their fuck.
If you like manual transmission, that's fine. But like the American market, and I know in Europe manuals are still pretty popular, but automatic transmissions are what Americans want. I would never, in a million years, want to drive a car that I have to manually shift. Now, if you're a person who likes to drive for recreation, I can understand why you would. I totally understand that. But it's just not something that the general market for mass market vehicles is looking for. So if that's something you want, you need to look into special vehicles to do that. I'm sorry, but this is something that happens when you get older. Markets are no longer targeted specifically at you because you aren't the largest consumer group anymore. Mr. Whiskers says, remember when steering wheels were a rope attached to a horse face? Kids these days.
Cars anyway, but it doesn't make a difference. Okay, all right, relax. I don't know how I get myself off into these tangents, but do you see everything that's around you? Look at any photograph from the 1800s.
We just looked at a bunch of them, and they're full of people.
At anything from the 1900s, there's not a single person walking around.
Okay. City in the early 1900s. Earlier we did 1800s, but he's giving us even more. So, like, let's look at a city. Oh, look, here's a colorized photo of a street in New York City full of people. Oh, look, here's another street in New York City in the 1900s full of people and streetcars. Like, what is he on about? He's nuts. Chris, did you actually Google a thing? You said look it up, and I am. And here's all the fucking pictures of people, you goddamn psycho.
Around. Especially in Paris. I'm like, what the fuck?
Especially in Paris. Now I gotta do that. Paris. Early 1900s. Oh, look. That's a painting. Here's some photos of buildings, which don't have people because they're literally pictures of buildings. Hold on. Let me get off the Wikipedia. Here we go. Paris in the early 1900s. Here's a place full of carriages and people. Here's people. That's after the Eiffel Tower was already built. Here's one full of people. Here's one full of people. I don't understand, Chris. and what his end goal is other to make himself feel smarter than everyone else.
I mean, this is old school shit. Tomorrow's new school. I hope you're going to be ready. I thank you for subbing. I thank you for viewing my videos, and let me be a part of your life.
What an asshole.
You're in free space. You nasty. Be nice. Be nice. You got to put different size craters on there. You know, one that. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris from New York, Westchester County. It's 1/20, 2023. Okay, it's Friday. I hope
What YouTuber is this? His name is CC.
Everybody's enjoying their Friday at work. So think about it, Friday. So let's think about a few things, shall we? Let's get right into it. Let's talk about the moon. Okay.
I'm excited.
Scientists have told us, and the school teachers have told us, that the moon is 2,000, give or take, 2,000 miles wide. The width of it. We're actually looking at the disk in the sky. Yeah, okay. All right, so that's like from New York to Nevada, right? So
okay.
It's about 2,000 roughly. You know,
if that's what it said.
Give or take. So I want you to picture that size.
He's younger than you, but he's the definition of a boomer. Boomer is a state of mind. John Doyle's a boomer, and that guy's younger than me. Hydrate.
A huge size, and putting a disc. Okay. Now picture the disc, 2,000 miles long, and putting little craters on it. Make sure the craters are falling the same way.
Wait, did he cite the diameter as...
Wait, okay. Don't start fucking around and putting them like that, because that's not how it looks on the moon. They're always falling at a 90-degree angle or an 80-degree angle. Whatever it may be, it doesn't matter. They're all the same. Okay, I have a theory of what the moon could be and how those happen, and that could be from heat, actually. Something. I don't know. It's not a tangible object. We know that. And it's certainly not...
The moon is a tangible object. Buzz Aldrin was on it. He got married the other day. You guys see Buzz Aldrin got married the other day? To a woman like 30 years younger than him. Like, she's in her 60s, so I can't be like, you know, oh, she's a kid who doesn't know what she's doing. But like... Buzz Aldrin, in his 90s, married a 60-year-old the other day. He's still alive. He's the last one from the first moon mission to be alive. Mike Max says, did you cover the fake COVID vaccine shaking? Because I like the meme people are making like this one. Let's see. Yeah, I've seen. To be clear, I am not making fun of anyone who actually gets seizures or medical complications. That's not what this is. What this is, if you haven't seen, is certain chuds and anti-vaxxers are faking seizures and falsely claiming that the seizures were caused by vaccines. It's untrue. They are lying in order to spread their conspiratorial anti-vax bullshit. Anyway, so this is the dumb shit they're trying to pass off as seizures.
Calm down.
Look good. Just video it.
She's capable of talking through her seizure, of course.
There's no sense of...
Even though that's not usually a thing people can do.
Hold me. It doesn't help.
Oh my god, guys, this video is giving me one. Ah, you fucking asshole. I hate these people. Do you guys remember the lady who, like, did that shit in, like, the early 2000s? Classic anti-vax. This isn't even a new scam. Like, this is everything old is new again type stuff. What the heck was that lady? Does anyone remember her name or anything? Walking backwards. Like, in the early 2000s, this dumb lady made almost the exact same, like, grift, where she was claiming that she could only walk backwards or something.
In the days following her getting a flu vaccine, she began to develop some extremely bizarre symptoms.
Muscles, everything.
Oh, yes.
She could run and walk sideways, but not straight ahead.
She got caught lying, of course. They started investigating her when she didn't know she was being watched, and they filmed her outside walking around fine, like a normal person. Fenekagami says, that's not a seizure. I would know because my brother had them. These people can fuck off. Yeah.
Her symptoms kept progressively getting worse.
I'm not the type of person to sit and watch TV.
I really don't know what these people's fucking problem is. It's like they're so convinced of their own bullshit that they have to manifest it into reality by lying because they feel it's justified, because they think it's true, and they're just getting the truth out through a lie. It's bullshit. Bull fucking shit. Gnome Pickle says hidden cameras are now a staple of medical treatment for tremors. They seem to work wonders. What else do we have? Hold on, what did I put in the title for this video? I always gotta make sure I definitely cover the videos. Rings of Power and the Millennial thing. Okay, I know what we'll do. We'll do the Millennial thing. Sitting intensifies. The War on Millennials, Part 1.
There is a silent war unfolding within the minds and spirits of our society. Young and old, rich and poor, black and white.
Have you ever done a stream going over Elon's failures over the years? Not all in one. That might be fun. And that rhymed.
There's an advanced
sometime we can do that, though.
Campaign for your soul, for your will, that has a scheduled and fitting place in the program for us all. Mind control is ubiquitous, and they have every demographic covered. Though there seems to be a certain demographic that is being severely targeted, more than others, mainly because there is more of them, and they will be the group that shapes the future. This demographic group is known as the Millennials.
Is this going to be a video where he completely misunderstands the age group that is Millennials? Because this is a recent video. This came out in September of 2022, you know? So last year. I'm one of the younger Millennials. In 2 months, I'll be 29. I have a mortgage. Like, what? Do they still think Millennials are, like, 15? I'm an adult, okay? I make my own goddamn decisions. I'm not being manipulated by a cabal.
Foundation of tomorrow. As being part of what would be known as Generation X, it is very easy for me to see the plague that has attached itself to the millennial group. A plague that has been maliciously...
Is the plague being more progressive than you are, on the whole?
...fortified and re-engineered to bring this young group to a slow, crawling death. And we are going to analyze the development...
These kids don't like Seinfeld! Oh my god, it's the end of civilization!
...of this. We will look at the numerous designated groups and archetypes within this culturally created demographic. And of course, as always, we will...
Again, I feel like these are maybe Zoomers we're looking at. If they're college age right now, they're Zoomers. They're Gen Z. They're not Millennials.
Dig into the history of culture creation and its methods of designing the future by destabilizing the youth through corruption and methodic media.
The only time I get to feel young is when boomers make videos about your generation.
Conditioning.
Millennials will be collecting Social Security and still be called these kids ruining society. Oh, it's really cute that you think that Republicans won't get rid of Social Security. That's cute.
From the creation of the teenager in the 50s with films like Rebel Without a Cause and the introduction of blue jeans, to the CIA-funded and designated hippie counterculture of the 60s and 70s.
After Act says, I'm Gen Z and I have a mortgage now. Nice.
The androgynous new wave genre of the 80s. And more. all leading up to today.
Oh no, not Boy George!
Where they have finalized their plan and designed a generation of individuals programmed to self-destruct. There's a war on millennials, and it's time that this war is put into perspective. To begin, let's do a recap on what the roots of culture creation are and where the manipulation of society originates. For one of the earliest examples, we can start with Plato and his work, The Republic.
Oh God.
Where he describes a central power elite running a society by using trauma, symbolism, and dramatics in theater and music, similar to the bread and circuses of Rome, which could lead us right to the circus theatrics of the professional con man P.T. Barnum.
What is this, free word association?
Who introduced culture creation through showmanship and hoaxes. And of course, that would lead us to the father of culture creation and propaganda, Edward Bernays, whom, with the guidance of his uncle Sigmund Freud, single-handedly changed society. Not only did he create public support for war, but he spearheaded marketing and advertisement, the fashion industry, and even introduced women to smoking cigarettes, when he decided it would be effective to hire non-smoking models to pretend they were smoking on street corners, as he took pictures of them and placed them in advertisement ads.
Sir, I understand that advertising is bad and manipulative. Why do you think that the things that you associate with millennials are bad? I'm assuming the things you're associating with millennials are progressivism. So what about that is bad?
Inspiring thousands to then create a new, unheard of population of women smokers. This is a small example of culture creation, but it is the beginnings of a process that is far more developed and has advanced over decades to bring us where we are today. Making up for all the disturbed and empty trends we have witnessed over the years. Unfortunately, these trends become people's identities, and when these people form functioning groups, this group,
as opposed to this guy's identity that I'm sure is not based on any sort of manipulation,
becomes what we know as a culture. The ideas of Freud and Bernays would be passed down and absorbed by European intellectuals.
Is this supposed to be a standard photo of millennials? Because if so, I agree.
Thinkers who would then form powerful...
Oh, the Frankfurt School! We're doing it! Everything I don't like is communism!
Think tanks that had backing from sources like the London Elite, the American Jewish Committee, Ford, and...
Oh! Is that thinly veiled, or is that just overt? It's teetering, because he didn't directly say it's all, but I'm gonna listen for another minute and we'll determine if this is thinly veiled or overt.
And Rockefeller foundations. These think tanks were the Frankfurt School, the Brookings Institute.
Everyone's saying overt, so I guess we'll go overt. We'll go overt.
And the Esalen Institute, to name a few.
Also, if I'm being honest, I know I looked at a channel today that had a lot of anti-Semitic stuff, but I picked something that was less anti-Semitic. We'll say overt. We understand what he's doing.
Under the direction and tutelage of the Tavistock...
Gnome Pickle says I am referencing a lot of historical things, therefore, as you can see, I am very smart.
Institute, Fabian Society, and the OSS, of course. Though none of this could have been accomplished without the minds and influences of the elite agents Aldous Huxley, Timothy Leary, Alfred Kinsey,
what?
Gordon Wasson,
oh my god,
Margaret Mead, and Gregory Bateson. Though many others play key roles, these individuals stood out in terms of the...
Jitara says, there's a part of me that has some respect for the people who came before us and left us knowledge. However, at the same time, I don't particularly think I should live my life to the guidelines left by people who checked out of the planet centuries ago. What they thought has no real bearing on our lives outside of things we have deemed as common sense and human decency. Agreed.
Slow debilitation of an American society and cultures of the world. Okay, so we are familiar with the powers behind culture creation. And let's remember, all forms of mind control, predictive programming, MK Ultra, lesser magic, all these concepts are mere sections within the broad spectrum of culture creation, and aims to create a transient and dualistic new world culture. In order to succeed in this, the elite powers must destroy two things. These are the God-ordained family unit and Christian faith.
Oh, Lord.
This is why it is very important to understand that all those who are agnostic, atheist, or non-believers in Christ are convenient agents for the New World agendas. How is this so? Well, these groups and schools of thought are promoted and accepted in the elite plans because they all pose threats to the order and design of the Most High God.
Oh God, it's just Christian fascism. It's just Christian fascism all the way down.
And they're aware of this. This cannot be disputed. Let's look at some simple ways these think tanks and financial foundations have joined to slowly destroy the family unit. We could look at a servile public education system, for instance, and kindergarten programs, which render void the influence of parents over their children's learning. And
you can't talk to your kids when they're home? Are you stupid? I think the biggest indictment of our educational system is videos like this. Stone Corbell says, God ordained the family unit, so I get 500 wives and concubines like Solomon? I don't know, are you gonna conquer stuff? Because Solomon did the work.
And development. As Fabian and Frankfurt School member and eugenicist philosopher Bertrand Russell stated.
Is Bertrand Russell at all that? Because I'm familiar with his, like, teapot allegory, but I don't know anything about him, like, other than that.
Children to believe snow is black. Influence of the home is obstructive, and not much can be done unless indoctrination begins before 10 years old. In addition to a servile and binding education system, we find government institutions like social working, counselors, and Planned Parenthood, which replace family guidance.
Chromatic Cuttlefish says, I mean, religious denominations would never try to indoctrinate people or apply any kind of social conditioning to people now, would they? Would this count as an epic hypocrisy on the bingo card? Yes. Also, Bertrand, I don't know about the claims of being eugenicist. Unfortunately, a relatively common belief of early 20th century thinkers, really fucked up. But I know he was non-religious because he did the teapot allegory, which was, you know, a non-religious thing. So I'm assuming his quotes about indoctrination are probably about religion. I don't know, though.
And support, making the state into the new family and authority over the child or adolescent. Though social work does have its good influences, especially in regards to abusive family situations. The Institute in its roots has more to do with taking from the family than assisting it, from a macro perspective, that is. Though we understand at the micro level, with sincere and loving professionals, good work can be and often is a...
Let's see, Bertrand Russell's political views. Sorry, I'm looking this up. Let's see, Russell laid out his views about eugenics with a full chapter on the topic in his book Marriage and Morals. He expressed agreement with the basic idea, while criticizing specific views and positions eugenicists held. Particularly a strong class bias. Russell accepted a forced sterilization policy for negative eugenics, but only that of, quote, mental defectives, condoning some laws for being overtly broad, or condemning some laws for being overtly broad. He also cautioned that eugenics policies had to account for scientific evidence, such as not making claims that all criminal blah 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 blah. Yeah, so that's an unfortunate, shitty position he held.
Accomplished. Though the most effective weapon in destruction of the family unit takes its place in entertainment, it plays on the carnal modes of youth and young adults, which are in their undeveloped stages. They are vulnerable and immature, easily influenced, emotional, and many times stubborn or overzealous.
Sir, millennials are, again, in their mid-20s at the youngest. Many are in their mid to upper 30s.
The worst part is many of these carnal modes don't fully mature or develop into the late 20s. And with the millennial generation, we will see this pushed back even into the 30s. Entertainment creates conflicting cultures, division, which disrupts communication and understanding. Today, worse than ever, we see the
millennial group culture is based on conflict, confusion, lust, ego, and technological dependence. I feel like you could argue this about literally any generation. Kinda seems like you're just picking out negative things of the human condition that you perceive as negative and saying, I'm ascribing this to all people in a younger age group than me, which is a pretty common belief. Again, it's kind of a pattern throughout human history that older people are like, these kids these days are immoral. It's a common trope.
confusion of gender roles, degradation
Not that confused.
of parenthood,
Just view it differently than you do.
manhood, and womanhood, all promoted and learned through the conditioning of entertainment. This is how you create culture. If you want people to hate God, morality, and discipline, to be reckless, addicted to substances and unhealthy behaviors, to not trust people and be obsessed with themselves and create a world of foolish and selfish animals, well, put it in the music. Put it in the movies. Make it pretty. Make it sexy. Make it a victim fighting for justice. Make it everywhere and impossible to escape. As the family unit slowly evaporates, we lose our human ecosystem, which is the family. As an ecosystem, it raises us to learn how to be a human, a healthy, functioning individual and member of society. Within that ecosystem, we learn about the Most High God, obedience, righteousness, and faith in Christ. This is where we gain our moral fabric. This is how a healthy, balanced, and loving person is created.
Sir, if it's a healthy family, sure, but like, let me give you an example. My family fucked me up. They were, like, I'm talking my immediate family, my parents, my grandparents, on my mother's side. Wonderful people, who I love very much. But, like, my parents, big pieces of shit. Huge, abusive piece of shit. The idea that there's this blanket that, like, all familial relationships are beneficial is just untrue. I have so many issues because of my parents. Like, fuck off. Fuck off with this. Your ideal version of the world, I'm glad if you had a good family relationship and that built you into, like, a good person. But that's not the case for everyone. It's kind of dependent upon the parents, believe it or not.
Though as society slowly is engineered to make the family unit vanish, with weaponized culture that proliferates divorce, drug use, mental, physical, and sexual abuse, poverty, homosexuality, and identity confusion.
By identity confusion, he means transgender people existing.
In turn, for lack of a family unit, people seek out a substitute. Lack of confidence in identity renders them a follower, a poser, an egomaniac, or bipolar and promiscuous. So they seek out a new family, which is found in groups.
Found family is definitely a thing, but, like, that's not a bad thing. People who find friends who become family to them because their own families, like, aren't the best, that's a positive thing.
Identities and archetypes, in social scenes, cults, or even gangs. Sometimes these groups are provided by the state, like masonry, fraternities, and the military.
Does this guy think the Freemasons are a government organization?
And most of
Freemasonry on the bingo card also.
the time, these groups are provided by the media and entertainment. Here we find lost individuals endorsing trends, genres, and styles.
That's funny that the picture I used is a virulent anti-Semite.
Many join these groups to feel original or to show
I'm guessing this guy likes Kanye now suddenly.
some type of expression. They in fact are carbon copies, limited to music, dress, and groupthink. In other words, culture creation.
Dude, just being like contrarian doesn't make you better than other people. Sometimes things are like prominent in culture because they're good things. Also, the vibes of this like outfit set, I would wear this. And I also want to dye my hair that color. But I don't have the courage.
Right when you thought...
Stone Corbell says, groupthink, a thing that has never happened in religion. Polly has his cracker, thanks for 13 months, says, glad to be here, you look wonderful, thank you.
You were unique or accepted. And though you are essentially a corporate design, a think tank lab rat, a victim of herd behavior and crowd psychology. Bricks in the wall of the popular mind, divided in its designated areas with specific attributes, all in the guise of individuality and the feel of being rare. It is all very fascinating, yet somber. With all that being the case, it should come to no surprise when one discovers the music industry and entertainment agencies are directly connected to government intelligence and
G-Taurus, as a victim of herd behavior, buddy, you're advocating that we go back to the 50s. And Forrest Espion says, is there a way to send photos in chat? I want to send a pic of a Build-A-Bear devil that would freak this dude out. It has to be like a link. Like if it was something that was posted to Imgur or Imgur. How do you say that website? I only ever see it typed. Like if it was posted to an image hosting website and then you sent a link to the page it's hosted on, I could see it.
And corporate interest groups. It's publicly documented that many leading Hollywood production companies are debriefed by the Pentagon and have CIA agents liaisons as part of production staff. Chase Brandon is a good example.
You pronounce it like Imager, 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 Imager.
Example of one of these liaisons. Films and scripts cannot and will not be approved without proper intelligence management. Viacom, Time Warner, Sony Music Group, Universal Music Group, even Google.
The thing you're watching right now is literally a video from the movie Brewster's Millions, which came out in the 70s.
All CIA and Pentagon managed. Any source that reaches millions of people with messages gets controlled and compromised. Period.
Brewster's Millions is a good movie if you haven't seen it, by the way. Check out Brewster's Millions. Sorry, 80s. Must have been early 80s. Gives me 70s vibes.
From the CIA operative and Frankfurt School guru Theodore Adorno's handling of the Beatles, the beginning...
Now I gotta see. $1985? Wow. I was way off on that one. I was thinking it was like 81 or 82 at the latest. Go watch Brewster's Millions. It's good. I also have this Blu-ray. I have this Shout Select Blu-ray, which is apparently also available on BestBuy.com. Where did the video go? I missed it. Where did it go? It's got to be around here somewhere.
Beginning of the psychedelic drug culture.
Oh fuck, Blu-ray on the bingo card, true.
Through Agent Gordon Wasson with the infamous Time Life magazine cover story of 57, which is a Skull and Bones publication under Henry Luce.
Very early 80s were still the disco era. The final disco song to hit #1 was Funky Town, I think in January 1980. Stephen J. Neptune Man says, this guy sounds like he unironically has that bumper sticker. You laugh at me because I'm different. I laugh at you because you're all the same. That's the thing. As long as he thinks he's a contrarian, as long as he thinks he's different, he thinks it makes him smart.
To Gloria Steinem, the openly admitted CIA operative who spearheaded the controlled feminist movement.
Oh, feminism bad. Hot take. Fucking idiot.
Even the Pentagon's hand in productions of simple things like competition shows to breed division within society. Shows like Survivor, Hell's Kitchen, Cupcake Wars.
You think that the CIA is involved in cupcake wars?
Cutthroat Kitchen, and many, many others. Psychological warfare is usually very subtle and regularly functions without being detected. Jane Fonda, Jennifer Garland, Rachel Ray.
Are they still mad about Jane Fonda in the year of our Lord 2023?
All CIA operatives. Even Julia Childs was MI5.
Oh my god!
Surprisingly enough. And these are all well-known facts in private investigation circles. They have all angles covered. Even where things can seem innocent, the elite have controlled it as well.
Forrest Espion says, here it is, Devil Bear at Build-A-Bear. Also, he's wearing a Hufflepuff robe. Got this before J.K. Rowling was discovered to be a TERF. I've never been to a Build-A-Bear. I don't want the responsibility of building a bear. I feel like I'll get to the end and I'll be like, this is shit. I regret every decision I've made.
Media as a whole is compromised. So once the family is no longer a source of identity and love, the media is provided as a new parent, a new guide and confidant. It will tell you what to wear, what to like, what to watch, and how to think. It will also provide many categories for...
Does this guy just straight up think people don't have interpersonal relationships with other people?
Every desire and interest group, so every individual can be accommodated. Now with the addition of the internet, these categories run even deeper and broader and more confusing and addicting. And who partakes in more media and internet time than any demographic? The Millennials.
That's it? That's the whole video? That was underwhelming. Alright, Rings of Power. Rings of Power.
I wanted to touch base really quickly on something. I know you've made reference to it in the past, but break it down for the viewers. You've talking about the quadrants, the north, the east, the south, the west. What does that mean, Jesse? People are like, what is she talking about, quadrants? They might believe, is it a group? What is it? What is she talking about? So please, just as a refresher, what does it mean, these quadrants in these areas? What does it represent?
Yeah, so basically, the whole world has been broken into these quadrants that these Luciferians rule. And the system...
Satanism on the bingo card.
...is so organized that, you know, they have individuals at the very top who, you know, it's kind of, the best way to describe it is kind of like a system or a business. You know, at the very top, you've got the councilmen who are the CEOs. Underneath those CEOs, you have all the grand high priest or priestesses who are kind of like the individual managers or CEOs of the different department stores throughout the world in the U.S.
Department
stores?
Stores?
We're talking about the system, you know. And then within that department, you know, they're going to be in charge of having, you know, managers underneath them, assistant managers, and those are going to be your high priest and priestesses, and their job will be to oversee the different departments within each company that's kind of set up. So, you know, I've broken down that those departments that operate separately are basically, you know, the Masons, the Jesuit Catholics, the Satanists, the Kabbalah, and the Mormons. And those 5 departments in each of those quadrant areas are going to be in charge of basically the system's business. You know, their job is to educate, to train, to make sure people are ready and selected for different positions, or, you know, if they haven't chosen you for a system position, then you're considered an expendable, that you're just there to be
You didn't know you were a Subway high priest? It's an upgrade from sandwich artist.
Asset that makes money for the system. So they the different departments oversee, you know, the assets, and then those that ensure the system continues to run. as they're chosen for different positions.
All right. There you
I
go,
hope
ladies.
that explained it simply.
Yes.
Was that okay?
Yeah. Just so they're up to speed, because some still don't know. They have to go back to other parts to understand that. Again, the rings, ladies and gentlemen, the rings. Its meaning, jewelry. Jesse, from your knowledge, working above in the higher levels, who do you think on the planet has the most powerful ring in the world?
Ooh, Sauron.
I don't think I can answer that question.
What a good cover for not knowing what to bullshit. Just look really serious. Not sure I can answer that. Mike Mack says, 1 ring to rule them all, 1 ring to find them, 1 ring to bring them all, and in the darkness bind them.
Okay.
It would be, there would be about...
I did finally see the first Lord of the Rings movie. I have not seen the second and third ones, nor any of the Hobbit movies. But I've at least seen The Fellowship. So there's that.
I would say the most powerful, probably together, are going to be 5 individuals.
5 individuals. That's all you could talk about.
What did I think? It's definitely a well-made movie. I'm more interested in it from like a filmmaking perspective than a movie perspective. I'm not really big on fantasy. So like, I don't know, elves and shit. I just don't care for that stuff. But the movie itself is like well-made, for sure.
But of course.
Yes, it was the extended edition.
But, okay, so you would say 5 individuals. Okay. I'm going to bring up a ring on camera. I'm going to show you this ring. I'm going to bring it up here. On my level of magic, we're taught this ring is the most powerful...
Wait, is this guy claiming that he knows magic?
...ring on the planet. But the question is, does this ring exist? And there's only one that I'm aware of. And who has it? Now, they say the person who has it has a lot of power.
Is it Hillary Clinton? Are they going to do Clintons?
And the only group on Earth, and I'm just guessing, I don't know this to be a fact, the only group on Earth I think would have this ring would be the Sanhedrin. And I'll bring up the...
Well, if we didn't have overt before...
Now this, ladies and gentlemen, is the seal King Solomon. This is very powerful, this seal. Tons of meaning. This seal was used with rituals and spells. In fact, the current...
Hannah's jealous because she has no magical powers. Magic isn't... You know how I know magic isn't real? Because if it was real, I would have magic powers. I would make a deal with the devil if the devil existed. Like, that's a fact. I've said this on stream before, and I know Satan would watch my streams, okay? Satan! You got any of that magic? I'll take it.
Story that
But instead I just became a low-level streamer, which is kind of like magic, but like, I don't know, there's more shit posting. Gitara says, let's consult with the wisdom of our main man and see what he says about people who think that fictional stories are fact. Paul looked upon the group and said unto them, not everything is a conspiracy, not everything has a deeper meaning. Sometimes a story is just a story. Book of Paul, Conspiracies 3:5.
You hear growing up, Genie in a Bottle is based on King Solomon. What would the guy do if he gets the bottle? He would rub it, out would come this genie, and he would have 3 wishes. Then he would say something and close it off, and there would go the genie. Well, the folklore The ancient stories are King Solomon learned to control these.
Sorry, my foot cramped up for a second. It was really bad.
Demons with spells and this seal. And it was said that it was the demons that helped him find the gold to build his temple.
Oh, demons helped him find gold to build its temple. This is the thing you think happened. You think a man summoned demons to mine gold to build a temple. You don't get to make decisions anymore.
These demons would tell him where
you should be eating tapioca pudding at a facility with padded walls.
It were. And he would go there and send his people out there to get more and more gold. Again, turning away from the Lord. The story of Solomon is incredible. His powers reigned for over 3,000 years. Some say the reason the world is where it is today is because of a power struggle between the Solomon people and the dragon bloodline.
Oh, he so badly doesn't just want to say his anti-Semitism out loud.
Is it true?
The Solomon people. Oh boy, I wonder what he means by that. These fucking anti-Semitic pieces of shit.
No one knows for sure. But I'm just here to say I find it very interesting that I was learning about.
I don't know who the dragon bloodline is supposed to be.
Solomon, his power and magic. And what I'm told is this ring right here, one person, there's only one of it, would be probably occultically one of the most powerful magicians on earth.
I'm okay. I haven't seen this video up to this point. I watched a little bit of the early stuff, you know, when I was looking for videos, because that's what I do, is I skim things, I go, okay, this looks like it's got some stuff, and then we watch it, because I like, for the most part, my reactions to be organic. I don't like to fake, like, oh, I didn't expect that. I don't like to do that, so I like it to genuinely be a surprise. I do not know what he's going to say. Chat, get your guesses in now as to who has the most powerful magic ring. I'm guessing it's either going to be Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, or George Soros. Those are my top three. Gnome Pickles says, the demons mined the gold, you see, because they wouldn't mine silver for him because silver burns demons. That's just logic and proves I'm not crazy because I know what metal hurts demons, doctor. No, I don't want another sedative. Interesting answers. Klaus Schwab is another good answer because they're afraid of the World Health Organization.
If
let's see,
this ring exists. Comments, Jesse. What are your thoughts?
Could also be the Pope.
I do believe it exists, and I do believe one person has it.
Wow.
And I would confirm that we could just call him the Sanhedrin.
Yeah.
There were individuals who sit on that council that are also connected with the Holy See.
Say what you think, you coward.
And I brought out, I had a show we just did about a group of those individuals that are known as Merlin at the highest levels. And Merlin were the individuals who held that ring.
Now, hold on. This is breaking news.
Is it? Is this lady just saying nonsense? Breaking news? Breaking news. I've discovered that the Grand Canyon is secretly full of cheese. It's not really a canyon. At the bottom, it's all cheese. They're lying to you.
Basically saying that
Hannah mentions cheese in the bingo card.
Merlin, the character we've read in books growing up, we've seen on shows, cartoons, the magician who lived in the wilderness, Merlin, existed.
I mean, Merlin is a mythical character from, like, the King Arthur legend. He's not real.
Folklore is that he did exist.
Like, it's possible he was based on, like, someone. Like, King Arthur may have been based on an actual, like, king or something. But, like, it's mythical. It's, like, mytho-historical. It's not, like, real. It's a mythic retelling of history.
And are you saying that he, at one time, held the Ring of Solomon?
Wild to me that actual people believe in fucking magic. Magic is not real. We live in a concrete reality where things exist because of physics. Magic isn't real.
What I'm saying is that there's a group of 5 men who are a special council. People can read this in the book Initiates of the Flame. It talks about Merlin.
Oh, you're selling a book. Shocking.
And they are the elder brothers, 5 of them, who their job is to groom and train up the Antichrist for his position. And in their language, they would call him Arthur.
It's 5 people that have the ring. Apparently, I thought she said she thought it was 1 person, but now she's saying it's 5 people, and they're unnamed.
Until he becomes their king. But they would be the ones who had that ring.
Wow. So, I was on it. I was quite sure that was the route. That's where it was. That's who has it. I'm quite confident that's exactly who has it. You're reassuring me on that. This isn't a joke, ladies and gentlemen. Some of you are wondering, who's King Solomon? So if you're new to the channel, welcome. King Solomon was one of the most powerful magicians, sorcerers, wizards, witches, whatever you want to call it, on earth. Briefly, they read about him in the Bible, son of David. In fact, it's funny you should say that, Jesse, because I'm actually reading about David. That's my scripture for this week. And I was just reading about the story of him and Saul and him running in the fields, running away from Saul. Incredible story. So that's where I'm at. And it's an interesting story, King Solomon. And I think we'll do a show on King Solomon maybe next week. We'll do a show on King Solomon next week, possibly. We could do him and a few other biblical figures. We'll call it biblical figures because we'll mention we'll mention Solomon and a few others, because I found it interesting that prior to him, Jesus was casting out.
You never did finish Atheist Bible Study, though, so you could be wrong, because you said you kind of doubt Merlin is mentioned in the Bible. You know, I didn't finish the Atheist Bible Study either, so.
Demons. So he was conducting exorcisms. So Jesus himself was participating in exorcism. He was casting out these demonic forces, this evil. And there's evil all around us right now, ladies and gentlemen. And I wanted to touch on this really briefly because we are at this time in the world where you need to stand up and you need to make a stand. You need to draw a line in the sand and decide whether you're with the Lord or not with the Lord. And the Lord has given you heavenly power and the Holy Spirit to help you cast out demons, whether it be out of yourself and out of others. Let everybody know where they could find you, where they could see you, and support your ministry.
Yes. There's several places you can find me. My main other show is Right On Radio. And on there, we've got a website, mylibertystand.com.
Does it require attunement? No, it doesn't take up a slot.
If you're kind of tired of supporting corporate America.
Finding out a magic item doesn't require attunement is like, it's good shit.
Big companies like, you know, Starbucks, Walmart, all of
it's a D&D reference.
Of those. You know,
I really need to learn Pathfinder now, don't I?
People have been asking, what are some things I can start to do to change? Sometimes there's things we can't. You know, there's only certain places you can buy certain products. But for those little changes that we can make, you know, I've been starting to try to make that commitment and make that transition in my life to get quality things that are made here in the USA. So how do...
Okay, the rest is just her shilling. We get it. I have to urinate very badly. I'm going to pee my pants. So, I'm going to put something on while I use the bathroom real quick. Pee on stream? You know, I'd rather keep my channel, so don't think I'm gonna do that.
Seasoned shredded dry pork. Maybe we've been wrong the entire time we've been making sausages. And there it is. It tastes like dried barbecued shredded pork. But of course, we won't be making a dry sausage. We'll reconstitute this with some water. I'm putting the gloves on for this. It's looking porky. And we're gonna give this a little hand stuffing because, you know, are we gonna give, you know what? No, I'm backtracking. We're throwing it in the sausage stuffer. Oh. Oh, good God, that's, oh! I should have hand stuffed it. That's gonna come up in therapy. All right, in 3, 2, 1, let's sausage! I should have hand stuffed it. Son of a b****. If your first instinct is to hand stuff it, then by golly, you should hand stuff it. This is gonna take a little bit of time. That's a sausage you can bring home to mama. This end's like super dry and this end's super wet. But here we go! Well, I mean,
I think a neighbor is smoking weed. The window's open and I can smell it.
I guess it's done. Let's open it up and see how we did. Oh my God, it still looks dry. Let's try the other end. They look the same. All right, I suppose we don't need a hot dog bun to try this. Here we
It's legal where I live, to be clear.
go! It tastes like the driest pulled pork you've ever had from like 3 weeks ago. There's some funky flavors going on in that pulled pork, so I'm gonna have to give the shredded dry pork a 2 out of 5.
That's disgusting.
Bop, 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 bop.
I did want to watch one more thing real quick as a cleanse because it was something about a cheese place. A cheese castle, Wisconsin cheese castle.
This special episode of Sausage Quest, we go over the border into Wisconsin and check out the Disneyland of cheese.
Okay, I wasn't planning on going to Wisconsin, but this is the first I'm hearing of a castle of cheese? A cheese castle. I think I need to rethink my plans. Am I doing a crypto stream sometime this week? I've been wanting to for a while. Maybe Friday, but I'll have to look for videos. Why? Was there something particular you wanted me to look at? If you have something for me, like video or article-wise, send it, and it'll increase the chances. If you guys send me stuff, it increases the chances of me doing a particular stream, because finding material is the hardest part of the job. I'm naturally charismatic, obviously, and everyone loves spending time with me. So, this part's easy. It's the finding stuff that's hard.
Cheese castle, designed in castle theme and located just off the interstate. It may look like a tourist trap, but that's because it is. Filled to the brim with all things Wisconsin. They have beer, cheese, Dutch pastries, and of course, XXX t-shirts. It's more like the Disneyland of Cheese's gift shop.
Thanks to Harold Elboman for the crypto thing. Let me put it in my crypto bullshit folder. I have so many folders. My folder is titled Crypto Nonsense.
But I didn't go for the cheese or the...
Where is it? Where is it? Got it.
XXX t-shirts. I went...
Where's the best place to send stuff? Nowhere currently. I do not have a P.O. box right now. I'm going to get a P.O. box soon. This year I want a P.O. box because I know some people want to send me stuff, and I used to like doing unboxings when Jake and I had the joint P.O. box, but we don't have that anymore. So, in maybe next month when I get paid, I'll go and I'll put like a year on a P.O. box.
For the sausages, which, by the way, is also a great way to announce yourself at parties. They have
Oh, for links. Duh. Sorry. Someone was asking about a P.O. box thing earlier on Twitter, and I guess I thought it might have been you, so I thought you were talking about that. Twitter is usually a good place. Or if you have them, you can send them in chat here, and I'll save them for later. I'll put them in the appropriate folder and take a look for next time.
refrigerated aisles filled with locally made sausages, but for those who must have the fresh taste of sausage on their tongues, they do have a small but efficient butcher counter with the newly made stuff. Along with free samples, they also have a dining area that is as dark as it is depressing. But of course, the restaurant is more here for convenience. It's not exactly the main reason why you go to Mars Cheese Castle, and they're serving up local fare like sandwiches. But if you like to eat your meat elongated like I do, then you should be sure to try their classic Wisconsin brat, which is the only sausage served at the restaurant. And to make things interesting, I also ordered the liverwurst sandwich. First up,
let me look on my phone. Obviously, I'm not going to put this on screen, but I'm going to figure out how long would it take to drive here? Wisconsin Cheese Castle directions. It would take driving it would take 4 hours and 22 minutes. Worth it. Hydrate.
is the brat, served prison style, but they do offer complimentary toppings, so you can make your brat the way you want. I top mine with neon green relish and yellow mustard, and I have to say, they may serve their brats plain, but that's because they really don't need anything. They're fantastic the way they are. They're amazing bratwursts. I enjoyed them so much, I went back to the butcher and ordered up a couple pounds to go. I gotta give this one a 4.5 out of 5. And to keep with the depression theme, here's the liverwurst sausage, served cold and on a dry piece of brown bread. I paid extra to top it with a piece of Swiss cheese.
Do I have a cheese head? I don't. Forrest Espion says, ever heard of cheese rolling? It's an old tradition in England where people chase a sealed cheese down the hill. It's insane. I actually have heard of this. Seems very dangerous. And the person who catches it gets the cheese, right? Yeah, I think I'll just buy cheese and not die chasing it down a hill.
Tastes pretty good for what it is.
In the summer, we could take the ferry across. That sounds fun.
And yes, it does taste exactly like the cat food sausage. So I'll give this one a quick 3 out of 5 and be on my way. But before I made my exit, I found root beer sausage located in their frozen sausage section. This one I'm cooking at home. And how does it compare to the brat I ate at the restaurant? It tastes a little bit less than the original Wisconsin bratwurst. It doesn't taste like root beer at all. If you hid this in a pile of sausages, no one would be able to guess that it's root beer. So I guess I'll give it like a 3.5 out of 5, just because the packaging is misleading. It doesn't taste anything like root beer. And in short, Mars Cheese Castle knows what it is. A great stop for tourists to pick up a variety of Wisconsin cheeses and knickknacks, and also not a bad place to stock up for sausages. See you next time on Sausage Quest!
Bop, 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 bop. Okay, that was a nice cleanse, at least for me. Let's get back into the conspiracies. Is there a specific one? Oh, God. Hey! Let's listen about the Mandela effect. You might recognize this guy. First one to call out where you recognize this guy from. You don't win anything, but good for you. He will show up. His face will show up at some point. I think it starts with a VO. It's not Peter. Beautiful intro.
Behind the news and the story that contradicts the mainstream media lies, hoping to convince you that the apparency of reality is in fact entirely fabricated and the illusion only appears to be true.
Oh, we're close to a hype train. Citisaurus says, have the rest of my bits. Hope your day's going well. I overslept for work today. Might need to get one of those shock watches that shock you if you try to sleep through your alarm. Glad I got to catch some of the tinfoil. Maybe. I'm glad I'm not that hard of a sleeper.
But in the battle for the survival of the American Republic and Western civilization, we must expose these illusions in order to bring about and nurture a greater awakening that will preserve our God-given rights and freedoms, not only for ourselves, but for our progeny and for all the future generations of human souls on this planet. We not only must plant the trees whose shade we will never live long enough to enjoy, but first we must uproot the poisonous trees we have for so long been deceived into sitting under.
Oh, and this guy really cares about the future of the youth of America.
We are dedicated to educate and inform, and stand in the gap for all of those innocents who cannot fight for themselves. We have put on the armor of God, and stand ready with the weapons of truth to put down the lies of tyranny wherever we find them.
It's not Goose Rock, guy.
We are the watchmen of liberty.
Citisaurus, thanks for gifting us up.
We don't forgive, we don't forget, we are invincible, we are American patriots. To this end, and with this firm resolve, my close associates and I have sworn the oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States and all Americans who share our values and wish to live free. Welcome to the most deleted, shadow banned, demonetized, censored, and trolled channel on social media.
Skifazoa. I think you were the first person to get it.
Recipient of the Patriot Warrior Purple Q Award. Is it possible that experiments at CERN in Switzerland has created parallel universes with subtle changes between them?
No! Believe sci-fi technology actually exists on the bingo card. So since Skifazoa got this, this guy was featured in the documentary that was hosted by no one in particular called This Place Rules. Unfortunately, now that's tainted by, joking aside, Callahan's involvement and creation of it. But this was a conspiracy theorist featured, and it turned out that he is a convicted child abuser. Put it that way. He was convicted in the 90s of harming an 8-year-old child in exactly the way you think he harmed them. And this fucking piece of shit has the gall to go online and do all the QAnon shit.
Has our timeline changed as in Star Trek? If you're
I picked this video because it was about Mandela effect and hopefully not something that would make me super angry.
Christian, you will lose sleep tonight. Hello, this is Dave from net4truthusa.com. It is December 28th, 2016. And I am going to reveal to you something that if you own a Bible, why don't you just pause this video?
I don't know if he's read the part of the Bible, but there's part of the Bible that it's like, hey, don't do the thing you did, sir.
Pause it right now and go get your Bible and unpause it when you're done. Okay. I want you to find in your Bible Isaiah 11:6. And if you have a KJV Bible, I remember this. This is ingrained in my head from when I was a child, that the Bible says that the lion shall dwell with the lamb, and that is not what my Bible says. Here's the passage right here. I'll switch the camera in a minute and I'll show you what it means, what it actually says, right from the pages of a book I've had since I was a kid. The passage I remember is a lion. The lion shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid. They changed lion to wolf. And I remember
I would imagine it's just a slightly different translation, or you're just misremembering, which is usually what the Mandela effect is. But regardless, that could easily be a different translation. It might have just been a word that translated roughly to, like, predatory beast, or something similar, or large beast. And in some it was translated to wolf, and some it was translated to lion. But again, likely just misremembering.
Lion being in this book. This was in this book. What the hell happened? That and it's under my highlight, so I know I read it.
It can't be that this pedophile just has a bad memory.
And I remember. And this is not the only passage that's changed. And it's even the same way in the electronic version. Here, I'll show you. And I tell you, folks, this has got me freaked out.
Why is this phone on airplane mode?
I'm going to show you my place in the Bible. This is my electronic copy of the Bible, and it says, "The wolf shall lie down." Wolf, not lion, wolf. I don't know where this comes from. This is crazy stupid, because I remember reading lion in this passage.
They list a bunch of animals in the verse, and those two are alliterative. Oh yeah, so some probably. That makes sense. Have I gone on God Rules' site? I have.
I don't remember.
We've seen a couple of videos. The problem with God Rules and his material is that he's kind of dry, and he just sits at a desk. And I'm already just sitting at a desk, and I try and be entertaining, but you know, if there's just someone there sitting at a desk boringly explaining their bullshit conspiracy, it can be boring, and he is so long-winded. But occasionally we get good stuff from God Rules.
Remember anything about wolves? I have it highlighted in my other Bible, and I don't know what to make of it. I really don't. And here it is in my Bible that I've had forever. You know, chapter 11 of Isaiah, verse 6, "The wolf shall dwell with the lamb." How is this possible? How did they I mean, it's changed under my highlight. And the reason I have it highlighted is one of the passages that I memorized, and I don't remember any wolf being in this passage at all. Something is very weird. Something is happening when they can change the words of the Almighty God in the Bible. Unbelievable. This thing has got me freaked out, because if what they're saying is true, they're blaming this on the Large Hadron Collider over in Switzerland, that they're banging stuff together and creating portals for other universes to come in and mingle with us. They're talking about movies being changed. Words and famous lines that people said in movies all of a sudden now are gone. It's literally like the timeline changes, like we're living in another.
This must be such a common belief, because it says on this page, even about this is a Christian website, Isaiah 11:6 has not changed. Every historical document that refers to Isaiah 11:6 does not say the lion will lie down with the lamb. They do not refer to the lion and the lamb. They say that the wolf and the lamb shall graze together. What follows are 6 historical examples of information that demonstrates Isaiah 11:6 never read. It might be a case where it just became, because I know I've also heard the lion and the lamb shall lay down. It probably became a common phrasing, like colloquially, Christians probably amongst themselves would say it that way and remember it that way because it is alliterative, as pointed out, and it's catchier in a mimetic sense, lion and lamb rather than wolf and lamb. So that probably just became the way you expressed the same thought, but the wording is different than the actual wording in the Bible. It's kind of like how people say, Luke, I am your father, even though the actual line from the movie is, no, I am your father, right? People just misremember things, because sometimes it's easier to remember things a little bit incorrectly than it is to remember the exact correct way things were. Sidosaurus says, maybe pop culture? Shit got changed for TV and movies all the time. The verse from Pulp Fiction, for example. Yeah, the verse from Pulp Fiction is entirely fictional.
The universe. I just don't understand how this is possible, other than what particle physics and and physics in general has been postulating for many years now, since Einstein, that there are...
Wow, a pedophile pontificating about physics. Just what I needed today.
Parallel universes, that every decision that you make and every turn that you take creates another universe. And I think that, you know, it solves a lot of problems and answers a lot of questions, and then it raises other questions. Like, some people would say, oh, the Bible says narrow is the path that goes to the salvation and wide is the path that goes to destruction. I remember reading that in the New Testament. And in another passage it says, every knee shall bow, every tongue will confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. Now, how can that be? Because if you confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, you're going to heaven, and you're traveling the narrow path. And I mean, some people are going to hell. And I personally don't believe in a God of half a victory. So maybe this is God's way of saving souls. They're making so many universes that the devil can only be in one place at one time. He's going...
If the devil can only be in one place at one time, do you mean just one plane of existence? Or, like, can he get trapped in New Jersey? Like, God needs to create a multiverse to trick the devil? But can he be omnipresent in one universe, but not in multiple? I'm so confused.
To and fro. He's trying to, you know, catch the souls that he might devour, for us to lose our faith in our salvation and give into this satanic crap that's happening all around us, and people are denying it, calling it fake news. But here's the proof right here. If you're you don't have to be a Bible scholar. All you gotta...
Stop loading? Are we free? Did my internet actually die? No, is it just this video? Are we free? Okay, the internet's decided we don't have to listen to the pedo anymore. That's cool. What else? Hydrate. Has the Large Hadron Collider destroyed the world yet.com? Sorry. Nope. Funny.
What's up, my YouTube family? It's your boy Berto checking in with another video, guys. So, I don't know if you guys been keeping up with football, but you know, I believe it was Cincinnati and Buffalo had a game, and Buffalo safety DeMar Hamlin fell down on the field. He had cardiac arrest. He had to be brought back to life. He's sent to the hospital.
Hannah has your guys. It's the default Samsung alarm. Of course, I have your alarm. I have one of the most popular phone brands on the planet, and it's the default alarm noise.
The game was canceled. This game was between Buffalo and Cincinnati again, and you know, he was out for a while. You know, it was a big story that had happened. So recently in the playoff game they had, coincidentally, this playoff game was against Cincinnati, Buffalo and Cincinnati again. He apparently showed up at the game. Now, that's not the problem. The problem is you never could really see his face. A lot of people were saying that was a clone because he actually died.
What? A lot of people were saying. No, you're saying. Fucking say it. Say you think that this football player is a clone. Say those words. Take ownership of your claims, sir, you goddamn coward.
Every little bit of footage they showed of him, everything was covered. You couldn't even tell it was DeMar. So a lot of people are wondering, did he really die and the NFL is trying to cover it up?
He did not. At least not yet.
And they've cloned him?
Cloning humans is not possible with our current level of technology. It's not something that you can just do. Cloning, and Baja talked about this in the Baja Science stream last Saturday. Human cloning is not something we are capable of doing. What is wrong with these people?
or they put somebody else in his place but don't want to show their...
Didn't know God was a Hadron Collider who was splitting the devil in a split universe where it's the Berenstein Bears.
Face shit?
Yeah. One time he trapped the devil in the Kit Kat hyphen universe. Took him 6 years to get out.
I don't know, guys, but check out the video and let me know what you think.
Looks like Damar Hamlin is in the building. Yes, if they show him in the stadium in any capacity, it will blow the doors off of this place. Damar Hamlin just showed up.
Damar stood up, right?
Yeah, he did. This is it right here.
I'm glad he's doing better.
What a scene. Oh. That's what's...
Like, I don't watch sports or anything, you guys know that, but I saw that hit, and oh my god.
It's his sign.
What a beautiful, triumphant story that galvanized this entire nation.
Now, you notice in the video, when they put the camera on him and he was in the booth, he started throwing up Illuminati signs.
What? He was doing a heart sign. He was doing I love you. You fucker.
He did. You know, he was doing this. He was doing a lot of Illuminati hand movements. And that right there told us that this guy is gone and he's replaced by a clone that is sold out, or he sold his soul. He actually came back and he just sold his soul. I really don't know. I think it's personally a clone, and the clone is now about to make it look like Damar Hamlin is part of the Illuminati. All this popularity he gained from it, they're going to use it. And they're using it very, very well. You see he's doing Illuminati signs. You can't see his face. He has his face covered up. It's just a lot of weird things about this whole situation. They were just saying, they were saying a lot of things about him as if he wasn't going to be able to come to any games. And then he shows up at this one. Like, it's just weird.
I mean, yeah, I'd imagine the prognosis was initially pretty bad. He got hit in such a way that his heart basically got fucked up. It fucked up his heart. Because basically, his heart got a concussion. That's a really stupid and non-medical way. His heart got hit real hard and it fucked it up. It could have killed him. Like, it's pretty miraculous that he's doing okay, and I'm very happy for him.
Weird, man.
He's not a clone.
It's weird because I didn't expect anything crazy to happen with him. Like, as far as, him being cloned. Them not being able to see his face, him doing Illuminati signs. I didn't see that coming with him. I really didn't. And it really starting to make me wonder, did the NFL really stage this?
No. The NFL does not need shit like this talked about publicly. There's already a huge discussion publicly that's been going on for years about how dangerous the toll football, full contact football takes on the athletes. Usually the discussion is about brain injuries, and how like repeated brain injuries over a lifetime really fuck you up, and how there's clear examples of like retired players who have had severe damage, some of which caused them to do awful things. I'm not going to get into that, but like there's already a discussion in the public about how safe or not safe it is to participate in football, full contact football, to the extent that in some places they're having a hard time getting as many kids into it because parents just don't want their kids to do it. They want them to get into non-contact sports because the dangers of, yes, CTE, thank you, are being better understood and communicated nowadays, right? Like, even if your kid wants to be an athlete, right, and your kid wants to do stuff, if my kid wanted to do football, I'd be like, I don't know, have you considered basketball? Or soccer? Literally anything that doesn't involve repeated head injury.
They can get a certain amount of sales.
Oh, the point I was trying to say is a very big public injury, like the Damar thing, is not what the NFL wants or needs right now to protect their brand.
Or profit off of this matchup. Because this happens and then coincidentally, the Buffalo Bills and the Cincinnati Bengals have to play against each other again. Because, the NFL, sports in general, would do these type of things to make revenue, make more profit. They will do anything for numbers. You got to think they're competing with other sports, especially football is really trying to compete with soccer. It really is. And, you know, the World Cup was huge.
Compete is such a weird fucking word. In the United States, it's not even close. American football in the United States is far and away, like, popular compared to soccer. Internationally, it's the opposite. I do not think the NFL has any delusions of trying to compete internationally with football because they would lose. Ashy Boo says, several years ago, a young football player at my old college ended his life. Afterwards, they found he had a ton of brain damage from repetitive hits that gave him severe depression and awful headaches. He wasn't even old enough to drink. That's fucked.
Huge. A very big deal. So to shed more light on a playoff game.
Friends switch their kid from football to hockey because it's safer while still being a full contact sport. Yeah, I can see that. Less head injury.
Building up to the Super Bowl. Why not do something like this? They did it at the end of the season.
Because I think to myself, oh boy, that guy recently almost died live on television. I sure do want to watch the Super Bowl now.
And then you go into the playoff.
Who's performing at the halftime show this year? I don't even know. Last year's was good.
Same two teams meet back up. The man that had all the attention drawn on him, had the world praying, had the world really stopped for this guy. It really, really stopped for him.
Rihanna? Yeah.
But was this all part of the football league's plan?
No. He got hit.
Was this all a...
Like, you can watch video of it happening, of him getting hit and going down.
Setup. Was that a clone we just seen that was throwing up Illuminati signs? Because clones, we know, they have a mind of their own, but they don't. They're controlled to...
What are you basing this on? Clones don't exist. So what are you basing this nonsense rules of how clones work? You're just making shit up or repeating stuff someone else made up. Clones aren't real, so there aren't clone rules.
To a certain extent, they do things slightly different from the regular person, the original person. That's because they're...
Slightly different? They'd be entirely different people. Having the same genetic makeup of someone doesn't make you the same person. Clones are not, like, twins are not the same person just because they share the same genetics. A clone would just be like a twin, but that's born at a completely different time to you.
They're being controlled by the Illuminati. The Illuminati will make this clone...
The Illuminati aren't real.
Worship them. That's just another person added to the list they can use to control the masses. Everybody right now in the country is on this dude's side. So now...
Yeah, he fucking almost died.
Oh, you got...
People usually feel bad when you almost die doing your job.
Everybody on this dude's side, and he's doing Illuminati signs. And then you can't see his face. It's just a really weird situation. But this happens a lot. And sports will do anything to compete with other sports. We see it happen all the time. So what will the NBA do? Because they're going to try to respond some type of way. You seen we had the little thing with Shannon Sharp going at it with Memphis. Like, any type of negativity is going to bring more attention to the sport. Anything that's not good is always going to bring more attention.
Eldronder says even if you could clone a body like that, you can't train years of football training. There's not a football gene. True.
Eyes.
You also can't grow a fully grown human being in any period of time other than the age they are, so...
It kind of creates this...
Unless you're like Jack in the movie Jack. You guys seen Jack?
Type of...
Probably Francis Ford Coppola's worst fucking movie, but I like it. His rules are from Multiplicity. I haven't seen Multiplicity, which is a shame because I like Michael Keaton.
It makes people eager to want to see these, whether it's a matchup or something, it makes people eager to see it. Because even with DeMar Hamlin, when he made the tackle, it was a regular old tackle. I know you've all probably seen the tackle. It was a regular tackle. He got up and then
It was a tackle directly into his heart.
Fell back down. So that's what made it even more crazy. Like, dude, it was a regular tackle and then he got up and he fell back down. Then he's young. You know, cardiac arrest, yes, it can happen to anybody, but it was just, you know, it was crazy how this stuff played out. Like I said, the sports and the industry is a dirty world, and they would do anything for sales, profit. This built up so much for this game, and a lot of attention was put on it. Just like you said, everybody's here to see DeMar, and he's there. Snow, when they put the camera in the front, they had a ton of snow flying, but when the camera gets behind them, you can't see as much snow on the outside of the window. Not saying I know it was snowing, but, you know, it's just weird. Guys, this is what the Illuminati does. This is how the industry works, and I can guarantee this guy's going to get a big payday. This has changed his career forever. Whether it's the clone or him, that name is going to have a lot of money behind it. Better believe it. Roberto Conspiracy Files checking out. Like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you think in the comment section.
What a nutball.
Welcome to Laura's View and Tarot 2. I'm really glad you're here. Today's date is Saturday, January 21st, 2023. And in this video, I want to explore a topic that came to my attention today. And I will show you, well, the title already told you because I know what I'm going to use for my title. It's Katie Hobbs seems to be wearing a medical boot. Now, if you are not too familiar with our political situation here in the United States,
every time a politician gets a medical boot or something like that, or they have pants that are like wider at the bottom, QAnon crazy people start making conspiracy theories that they're concealing an ankle monitor because they've secretly been arrested by like the white hat Q people.
Katie Hobbs was a candidate for governor in the state of Arizona, and she wasn't very popular, but she was also in charge of the whole counting the votes. She didn't excuse herself in that process because she was a candidate. No. In fact, if she had, I'm sure we wouldn't be having all the follow-up court cases that are happening to try to rectify that situation. There's even, she was in the counting room by herself. I mean, there were so many shenanigans that went on with that. Oh well, why am I even surprised? We haven't had fair elections in so long in our country.
No evidence of that.
So when I can't be surprised, sometimes I can be amused. And I wanted to show you a picture of Miss Hobbs sporting a medical boot. 1 second. This was shown earlier today. I apologize for the Pepe in the picture, but it was the best one that showed the boot because the mainstream media is trying to do their best to keep that low key. Now, if she had
keep it low key, you want them to take a big picture of her medical boot?
A genuine medical reason for having it, don't you think they would be talking about what that was and not trying to?
I mean, it's probably private. I don't know if she had like ankle surgery or like some kind of leg surgery or if she got injured, but like that's her business.
To camouflage it in the pictures.
Like, do you know what HIPAA is?
Miss Hobbs is in good company. I'm going to be scrolling back and forth, so if that bothers you, wait till I say the name of the next picture. In the past, no name McCain wore one. So did
McCain died.
HRC.
Okay, and she's not in prison, so
46 has also been seen with one. In fact, I think it has.
And he's the president, and in the White House.
Been on both of his legs at one time or another, just within days of one another. Not to be outdone, here is 46's wife, Jill. She's sporting one.
Okay. But in that picture, he's not. So are they on alternative house arrest where they alternate who has the ankle monitor? How does that work? You can't say they all have ankle monitors when they only have things in those pictures.
Then we have the suddenly slim Mike Pompeo wearing one.
Does this lady not know older people get foot and leg surgery? Like, especially for the older people. The lady she started the video about seems relatively young, so it might have been an injury. But, like, once you get to be Biden and his wife's age, like, you're gonna have either foot pain or get foot surgery. Those are your options. And since, you know, they get government health care for being in, you know, the White House, they can get that shit fixed.
HRC's daughter got in on it too. Here's Chelsea wearing a medical boot.
Okay.
That's just a few. I found a picture of Mr. Schwarzenegger wearing one and others. Now, I realize sometimes medical boots are necessary. My daughter has tendonitis and she has something similar for her tendonitis.
Wait, what'd your daughter get arrested for?
So I'm not claiming that every picture I showed you is one of those humorous boots that means someone has had to account or is going to be accounting for some shenanigans. But I think a lot of them are.
Ooh.
So let's ask the cards, okay?
Let's ask the cards. Let's ask the cards. Sidosaurus says the level of paranoia to make this seem even remotely plausible in her brain must be astounding. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to ask the universe. The medical boot seen today, or recently, I'll say recently in case it wasn't today, on Katie Hobbs, the supposed governor of Arizona. By the way, Katie, what's up with all these planes you're sending to blue states? You sending out some of those illegals, huh? On the taxpayer dime?
The fuck is she talking about?
Thank you. Can't wait till we get things fixed around this world. Okay, so we're going to ask the universe. The medical boot sign on Miss Hobbs, is it indicative of legal proceedings?
I'm so curious how she's going to twist and turn the tarot cards into whatever thing she already wants to believe.
That she is and will continue to be involved in for shenanigans and other information the universe wants us to know. Let's find out. So Governor Hobbs, the medical boot you're sporting, we're asking the universe if it's connected to legal proceedings that you're going to be caught up in. Is it hiding an ankle monitor, in other words? And is there other information the universe wants us to know? Okay, we have the Page of Cups. Seven of Swords. Four of Pentacles. Page of Swords.
I wish I have a friend that I've known since middle school, and she collects tarot cards. She has a ton of them because she likes the art on them and stuff. And she knows, like, quote unquote, how to read tarot cards. She doesn't, think it's magic. She doesn't believe in supernatural stuff, but, like, she thinks they're cool and the whole, like, theatricality of it is fun. I really wish she was here so I could ask her, like, is what she's doing, what the fuck is she doing? What is this? What do these cards mean?
Swords. Queen of Swords. Page of Wands, lots of pages. And the Three of Swords.
Tea with Goblin says, hello, I am a tarot reader. I can help. All right, any information? Let us know, because I don't even know what to ask.
So we didn't get a hard yes with a ace showing up here at this point in the read, but our question was indicated by the Page of Cups. Okay, we were asking if the medical boot that Miss Hobbs was seen.
So is the whole point you just pull a bunch of cards and interpret them however you want in order to justify the thing you want to say is true? Like, I don't know what the actual meaning of the card is supposed to be, but is it vague enough that you could interpret all of these cards very liberally? It's kind of the vibe I get. Argonian Bum says, atheist with a deck here. Each card has a meaning and you can BS how you make it apply to your friend. I used to make up stupid funny stories to people for fun at parties. It's a good party trick. Okay.
Wearing has to do with...
Clock Blockers says, there's a shop that does palm readings and I always wanted to go in and just lie my ass off and see if they can tell. Oh, same. I've wanted so many times to do like a hidden camera thing and like go do that. I don't think Michigan's a single party consent state for recording though. I think it's a 2-party, so I couldn't do that.
Legal proceedings that she'll be involved in. And we're getting a yes because, now remember, swords are the written and spoken word.
It is a single party consent state? Okay, maybe I need to go fuck with a psychic.
Okay, they are the justice suit. So we have lots of swords showing up here. Okay, this one, the one where he's trying to get away with what he can, kind of indicates the situation. She's hoping we won't question that medical boot. Okay, so the Page of Cups is interesting too, showing up here because he's a connection one. So yeah, she's connected to an ankle monitor.
So again, vague interpretations that you can sort of, through creative use of language, justify whatever thing you want. That's interesting. It's bullshit, but it's interesting.
Oh, which is a nice gift for us, okay? For those of us who are tired of having shenanigans in our balloting and what have you. And she's hoping to get away with it. Let's see how this works out for her. In the recent past, we have the 4 of Pentacles showing up. Now that is about being kind of miserly and careful with your resources. And how that works out in this reading.
Okay, enough of tarot, lady. We get it.
At first, the conspiracy theorists...
Tea with Goblin says, in summary, tarot isn't supposed to be used for such big, broad subjects. It's really more of a mindfulness exercise. There are archetypes and meanings associated with each card, but it's about the story that you tell with those meanings. It's not meant to be fortune-telling. I'm a big advocate for tarot as a mindfulness exercise, but not as a future-telling thing. That's actually something my friend has expressed to me before, but I think you expressed it in a way that I understand better. I understood the vague idea, but like, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Told me about the New World Order, and I did not believe them. They told me about...
I feel bad, too. It's actually kind of funny. The friend who I know who is into tarot, we've known each other, like I said, since middle school, and in high school, she was really into psychics, unironically. Nowadays, she knows it's not true and stuff, but like in high school, she fully believed this shit, and it's not her fault. It's her mom's fault. Hydrate. And it's not her fault, it's her mom's fault because her mom is into all this woo-woo shit and made her. Like, literally, her mom took a Reiki healing class and made her take one, too. So now my friend is certified in Reiki healing, which, if you don't know, is energy healing, which is aka bullshit and not real, but she has a certification in it. But anyway, I felt bad. Because in high school, I'd always, you know, I was still me in high school, more or less. But I don't know. We got in a fight. We got in a fight over the fact that, I don't know, she was so into psychic stuff and it was frustrating. I'm glad she no longer believes in psychics. I'm very proud of her.
Mass vaccination and the Georgia Guidestones. And I scorned them. I laughed and mocked when they told me about microchips and 15-minute cities. When they told me about the child trafficking, I looked the other way. They told me about doctors, media lies.
Wow, he's got a 19 MAGA hat For those who don't know, QAnon people, at least some of them, believe that Donald Trump will come back and be the 19th president of the United States because they think, because they think that the 18th president of the United States was the last president of the real United States, and that under the 18th president, the United States became a secret corporation, and that when Trump comes back and fixes everything, we'll return to being a real republic, and he'll be the 19th president. So this guy is signaling to other conspiracy theorists that he is in on it, you know. Tea with Goblin says, I hate it when people use tarot like this. It's grifty. It's a beautiful way to try to extract disparate parts of your mind and use the narrative structures of the tarot as an introspection tool. It's a great skill to use, but it's very personally oriented. Anyone who tries to use it as a crystal ball is either a grifter or mentally ill. Okay, tarot tantrum over. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for all the information. I always appreciate when people in chat have some knowledge that the rest of us don't, that they can share. Clock Blockers with 50 bits says, if you went to a psychic, would you try to do it sincerely or would you troll the F out of them? The first time I would probably try to be genuine, as almost a control, and then I would probably go to different psychics and fuck with them, if that makes sense, you know? Because I think, as much as I do not have an ounce in my body that thinks psychic ability is real, right? But I also have the feeling of, like, if you're going to try something for the first time, try it. So, if I were to actually pay for some sort of bullshit psychic reading, I wouldn't think it's real, but I would be genuine the first time just as a bucket list, I want to experience this because I'm curious kind of thing. But that's just me.
And cures, but I still stood in line with my sleeve rolled up. When they marched and protested on the streets for freedom, I did not get involved.
This is basically a bastardization about that really famous poem about the Holocaust, which makes me sick.
When the dark side threatened to force vaccinate us, I pretended not to hear.
Comparing public health measures to the Holocaust on the bingo card.
When they came to needle the children, I was posting pictures of myself and my dinner on social media. I ignored all the died suddenly hashtags, did no research of my own.
Do your own research on the bingo card.
And buried my head in the sand. When the swamp comes for me, it will inevitably be too late. I wish I had spoken up sooner. Is that you? You are either service to self or service to
Is he reading a Facebook meme? I think so.
Others now. There is no in between. You have to choose a side. Otherwise, by default, you will fall on the wrong side of history. Wake up, please. Stand the fuck up. Get involved and use your voice. We need you. We need all of you. Put on the full armour of God. Spread the love.
Where's Willie Ames when we need him?
At first.
Tea with Goblins with 100 bits says, your kids are fine. The kids are fine. They're more at risk of dying because of long NHS wait times and understaffing in hospital. Find something else to be angry about, because there are plenty of things. Also, to repeat what someone else said in chat, why is a poem wearing a MAGA hat? I don't know. I think for some Q people it's become a thing internationally, because they think Trump is like part of the good guys or whatever. Do 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 ba 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 da ba ba da da boo ba boo. Boop boop boop. We've been going for 3 hours. Is it time? Is it time? there anything else I absolutely needed to cover today that was timely? I don't think so. Wait, what was this one? The zombie phenomena.
Suggested we know that they've injected a great deal of humanity with a technological
minutes, hundreds.
Alright, I'll save that for next week. Now what? Blizzbear is streaming. Yeah, I don't think we've rated Blizzbear in a while. Sure. Love you too, Mr. Blast. Alright. Have a good night, everyone. I will see you tomorrow for something fun. Boom, 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 boom. But wait, why is the raid command isn't working for me? Hold on. Doom, 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 doom. If I can get this to work. If I can get this to work. Okay, it'll work in 10 seconds now. I got it. Alright, I'll see you guys. Have a good night. Stay cool. Love you parasocially. Adios.
Doing things for the content. It ruins you as a person.